Welcome back, everyone, to Lesser Known Operators. I am your host, Nicholas Allen, and my guest today is Joseph Bridges, a Green Beret from the 10th, 5th, 20th, and 19th Special Forces Group. He was an 18 Delta, an 18 Fox, and an 18 Zulu. He is now the owner and founder of Pineland Consulting and Development, also known as freepineland.co on Instagram. Based in Central Ohio, Pineland Consulting trains local and federal law enforcement and civilians. I'll have links to his socials in the show description. Today's episode is brought to you by the Precision Wellness Group and Dr. Taylor Bosley. Precision Wellness Group helps you restore balance, unlock vitality through bioidentical hormone therapy and evidence-based personalized telemedicine. Dr. Taylor Bosley is a board-certified physician, a U.S. Army veteran, and a former Green Beret, so he knows where you've been, where you want to go, and how to get you there. And he's an actual doctor who can prescribe you actual medicine. So HRT, TRT, hormone replacement therapy, testosterone replacement therapy, peptides. If this is something you've been thinking about for a while now, or just looking into, look no further than Dr. Taylor Bosley and Precision Wellness Group. I will have links to their website and socials in the show description, along with Joseph Bridges and Pineland Consulting and Development. I do appreciate you guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, pass these episodes along. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Joseph Joey Bridges, welcome to Lesser Known Operators, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, absolutely. I always down to support, because I think you have just gotten into the Instagram or social media game, as you call it, and
Yeah,
trying
as of
to.
March.
So new to the field, not much newer than I am. So bear with me on my advice or my well wishing that I try to give you, because as I said before, I'm still figuring all this shit out as we go. I'm
Yeah.
like I got my hair on fire, and but a lot of these problems you can either outwork or you can just copy what other people are doing. So, because
Oh, that's bad.
I don't think so, because the market's so big and there's so many people in for what you guys got going on, freepineland.co, right? Or free Pineland. It's regional, right? People only travel so far for local training. You got a gun range, and what do you got, a radius of 50 miles of people can go. So if you've got a buddy that's way more established than you, you're like, oh, I like what he's doing there. Let me take what he's doing, modify it, and make it my own, and then put it out. I do a lot of that stuff with my funny content or my things like that. I'll be like, I like that. The internet has no memory. Um,
Yeah, it doesn't.
and there's not as much competition as you think there is. Now, unless you're a used car salesman sitting across the street from another fucking used car salesman, that's competition there. But for this stuff, I mean, the customers, they're buying me, or they're buying my guests that come on, or the way I put my content out. So they're really coming there for you, and you're just selling yourself. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. So
Yeah, and I've always been bad at that one. So,
why
um,
why do you think
yeah, I
that
just
is?
um, never was very like flamboyant as a kid. I mean, growing up, and then I went in the army. A couple of years in the army, then I was into SF, and we didn't talk about ourselves. You know, that was I started. I got into the Q course in '91. So, back then, there was some stuff going on, but we just, I don't know, we were the epitome. I hate to say it that way. The quiet professional was pushed very hard.
The silent professional for many
Hmm?
years. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. That's just a different. None of this existed, right? If you got told something at formation, at the end of the day, you didn't find out new shit until you got back to formation the next day, or at PT call, or whatever the fuck. Like, there was no, hey, fucking text everybody and get everybody to the company area. That didn't exist at all. So the changes and everything are unreal. Even from mine, like, cell phones just started becoming a thing when I was a kid, and now, oh man, I can get a hold of almost every Green Beret there ever was in a few minutes now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy. It's my we never deployed with cell phones. We didn't have them. If you're lucky, we had a sat phone that you could, you passed around the team to use to call home. But my wife would go weeks without hearing from me. It was how it was.
Mm. Unheard of these days.
Huh. Yeah, and it
That's
goes back to the whole no pictures thing too.
when we talked about that. I I cringe when people ask me for a picture in uniform because I don't have any. I don't know about
Yeah,
you.
no. Um, there might be a couple on my wall, but yeah, if somebody I had to get one the other day, and it took me forever to find a half-ass picture. And that's fine. I don't like having my picture taken, but we just didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, you you've kind of rebel against it. You're like, I don't need to do that sort of thing. You're not thinking like you in 30 years when it's all over and you go want to, you want to pick that up because I told you I was writing that thing and it's like that's what it's all about. You pick that phone up or that image and you go, oh man, that's what it's all about. I remember that guy. Fuck that guy. And you go,
Yeah, it's um you didn't keep in touch with people when you left. I left 10th group in late 90s sometime. And it was weird cuz last week, 2 weeks ago I got an email from a dude that I haven't talked to since 96. He found my website and reached out to me. And I've looked for
29
that guy
years.
several times over the years. And yeah, he reached out to me. So we've been catching back up again, but I haven't talked to him since 96. It just, you didn't keep in touch with people, or I didn't.
Isn't it crazy? Um, as we become more connected, we're pretty connected now, but it's really everybody's coming around to it because there's no way to avoid these things now. All businesses run off of really off of social media, and the marketing is so heavy on all of these digital things that dependent on the power. You plug it into the wall, right? So isn't it crazy? I kind of lost my train of thought right there, talking about that.
Reconnecting?
That yeah, reconnecting, buffering.
Maybe.
You sit and you think about these times in the military, and you'll think about somebody you don't know their name, you don't know really anything about them, but you remember being there in that moment. And
Uh-huh.
if you're thinking about somebody you don't know their name and you don't know who they are and how to get a hold of them, out there, there's somebody thinking about you the same way, going, "Who the fuck was that dude?"
If I like that idea or not.
I I don't know. I know there were several times I rolled up into like work with regular army units, just black or tan shirt, camo pants, a fucking ops core on, rolled up, did something, talked to the commander, first sergeant, and then fucking sped out of there. I guarantee you, there's soldiers that are like that tell those little stories because all my buddies have done the same thing. They'll just pull up, fucking talk to the commander or the first sergeant or something, exchange things, trading use of equipment, and then they'll just speed out. And there's a soldier that's sitting there that's telling that story like, man, these dudes fucking rolled up in these fucked up uniforms, handed the commander some MREs or some fucking hot A's or something like that. He gave them a envelope full of cash and they fucking sped out of there or makes up whatever private story they can. So all that shit's
Yeah,
out there.
imagine. I remember we did as a 10th group, we went to England. We were just south of Cambridge, I think. We were doing this, we did a reconnaissance on an airfield. The Gurkhas came in and seized the airfield. So after they seized it, third of the 325 from Vicenza came down, and they jumped in and they did perimeter. And our part was done. We were waiting for exfil. So we're sitting in this sheep's paddock, and we're on this just piece of concrete. I'm sitting back, laying against my rock. I got my boots off, my feet are up. It's wet, and the commander, first sergeant, and a couple other senior NCOs and officers came walking up looking for whoever was in charge. And I remember that there was a couple like lower enlisted, and I'm just laying there on my ass and telling this was he captain at the time. He's like, ah, yeah, he's just over there. It's Bill or whoever. Actually, it was Tom. Like Tom's over that way, and you could just see the look on their face, like, who the fuck is this guy? So, yeah, I guess there probably is people like that.
Yeah, and for better or for worse, people will draw their opinions on stuff like that that doesn't matter. Oh, this guy was in a fucked up uniform and he was just sitting there. You, they say you're a fucked up soldier or a thing like that, and then go off and talk to the commander, and then this guy's, oh
Yeah.
shit, yeah, yeah, oh yeah, sir, hey, nice to meet you. Who are you again? For
Sorry about that.
Sorry about
Hi,
that.
buddy.
Yeah, fuck. No harm, no foul, right? Here's a coin,
Right.
team
Yeah.
coin. You're in Ohio, right?
Yeah. Central Ohio.
How'd you settle there?
So when I got off active duty, um, I joined the Marsh Service, and I was still waiting for this gig or for the Marsh Service gig before when I got off. I had two choices. Was it Yakima, Washington, or Columbus, Ohio? And I couldn't remember at the time. I was like, what is, there was something about Yakima. I was like, I just couldn't picture what it was. I was like, well, I'll take Columbus. I'm from the Midwest, from Iowa originally. So going back to Midwest was a no brainer. So as soon as I took Columbus, then I remembered, Yakima, that's high desert. I was like, fuck that. I was like, I don't want to do that. So yeah, that's how I ended up here. It was
Yeah,
supposed to be 5 years and then back to Tennessee, but that didn't happen.
yeah, Yakistan, uh, the training
Yeah.
area. So
That place is brutal.
a little bit, yeah. Beautiful to the west of there.
Yep.
Politics are a little shaky for some,
Little?
but yeah, well, yeah. Depends on which side of the fence you are on, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
My,
I don't
my
I
daughter
don't
lived
think
out
the
there for
people
13 years.
yeah, I don't think the people there like it, but they ain't gonna change it. So
No, no.
even the ones that do like it don't like it, I don't think. But hey, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? So
If that's how they're happy living, as long as they keep it there, I don't care.
yep, as long as you're happy, as long as you're happy. So
Yeah.
no, man. But uh, you said you're waiting for the Marshal Service, but how did Free Pineland come about?
So when I guess I was a couple years out from retirement, and you're not supposed to have another job while you're in the Marsh Service. And a bunch of people do it. It just, as long as you're not really doing anything with it, doesn't matter. But yeah, I knew I wanted to train, so I started Free Pineland, um, just to have something to pick up, for something to do, have some fun when I got out. So the name just came because I couldn't think of anything original. I was in my shop one day. I had my Free Pineland flag hanging up, and I'm like, yeah, there we go.
Stealing ideas right off the bat.
Right from the beginning.
See,
Yeah,
you got the in. You're already, you
right.
started off on easy street. Now it's just, hey, now I just need to copy some promotional materials and
That's
some
what. Yeah,
names
right. Yeah.
and stuff,
Now,
and I'm
and
all
I
right.
wanted something that pointed to SF, but wasn't like blatant, and it worked because like I had guys at Shot coming up when I went to Shot in January. I had them come to me going, "Hey, where'd you get that name?" And they knew what it was. They were just seeing if I did.
If you, yeah, if you did, um, kind of a weird question. I hope you know. Have you ever been to Pineland after your first initial jump into Pineland?
Um, yes and no. I went up there. I did an overnight bike trip up to Uwari when I was in
Yeah,
language school.
yeah.
And 4 miles in, I wrecked the bike, bent the forks in the rim, and walked back out, and I was done. So,
Reminiscent of your first trip of walking in.
yeah, yeah, that was brutal, man. On the jump in, I was throwing up on the way down, and it was bad.
Oh, you jumped in. Oh my.
Yeah, yeah, we jumped in, but we jumped in at McCall. Sorry,
Okay.
and then they loaded us up into trucks and then took us out there.
They
Yeah,
haven't jumped in 5 years.
really.
There's one guy on one of the Facebook pages that makes a memorial post of all things of the last combat jump into Pineland uh,
Really?
to free the oppressed. But yeah, every year, and I think this year was the fifth anniversary of the last jump into Pineland.
Hmm.
Um,
Why'd they quit jumping?
it is, you know this. It's hard enough to keep daytime, static line, all things are perfect jump from injuring people. Now
Yeah.
you put them under 135-pound ruck students and student status who are just about to graduate. And yeah, I think it just became one of those things. It's too difficult to keep because they were keeping us on jump status through the course,
Yeah.
and the course is fucking like a year and a half, 2 years long, and that's very difficult to do. Also, to get all the training uh, thrown in there and scheduled jumps. So I think they just eliminated it from the whole thing. So I don't think they're on jump status anymore. If I'm wrong, hit me up in the comments. I'd love
Hmm.
to fucking get the updated information, but I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, I can see that as so they just notionally jump them in, or they make them walk the 15-20 miles through the rolling hills, or and get to the objective, and then shoot at them a
Down
little bit.
timber.
And rough, not fun, but yeah, no, I
Yeah, I
couldn't
never.
imagine that. Yeah,
Yeah, I never liked the. Or as I got older or was in longer, I always hated jumping as it was. Just it was never my thing. But yeah, having to jump 4 times a year or whatever, yeah, once a month there for a while, just to stay proficient. And like, I'm falling from the sky. I don't need to be proficient at that. But if you wanted the money, that's what you had to do.
yeah. You got to keep that little bit of paycheck, and it makes a difference. You wouldn't think
Mm-hmm.
$150. Well, it was 150 for us, but $150
110
would
for
make a
me.
difference. 110,
110.
well,
Yep.
back in
Love
my
that
day,
110.
that was a big deal. And yeah, but getting it started, getting it restarted, and things like that was always a hassle. But you don't think that jumping every 3 months is going to be a hassle. You're like, oh, that's it. That's all I got to do. And you're at Lewis, and you're going, all right, I just need to jump 5 times in the next week, and I should be good. Because we've canceled 6 jumps in a row. I've been in Korea or back and forth or at school or something like that, and all of a sudden, hey, yeah, I'm only hey, how's your jump log? Yeah, I'm like 16 months behind. Oh shit, fuck, man, we're in trouble here. So you got to find some creative. Allegedly, you got to find some creative solutions. I don't know an official way that people
Yeah.
did it, but
Yeah.
allegedly we had to find some creative solutions for
I don't
that.
think I ever met anybody that actually lost jump pay because of it.
No, fuck no.
You know.
I'll bet now it happens. I
Yeah.
would bet now it happens
Hey,
with the
come on,
things.
get.
Oh, you got your little friend there.
This
Um,
is Sasha. This is my good girl. Hi, baby. And then Toothless, the big lug right here. Come here, Toothless. Stick your nose up here. Hi. All right, get out of here.
mine.
No.
He's found mom. She's working upstairs, and so he's cuddled up next to her. But we got 3 French bulldogs, and they're like toddlers.
Yeah,
They got to sit right in your lap, and you got to hold them and pet them until they fall asleep. But
that's how this one is. They got 2 Malinois. And Toothless here. Here, come here. Come here. Come. This is Toothless. Hi.
oh,
Yeah, look at that. See? All
now
right,
you're
get out.
famous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, now. He's 92 pounds of lap dog.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Although that's a real dog. Mine are a little. I can just put mine in a tiny little cage and go for a drive. I don't have
yeah, I
to
wish I
account
could.
for a
Oh,
full human-sized dog to go traveling and things like that. Of course, yours can probably do normal dog things like listen and fetch and things like that.
so my female Sasha, she was a house protection dog. She's 13 now.
Mm.
She doesn't do much except whatever she wants. Toothless, no, dude, he's a beast. He's just an animal. He does what he wants. If I can get him to listen half the time, it's good.
You gotta love them. They're a little furry. They don't know what's going on. They're just always happy to see you and brighten up the day. Wow.
Yeah, a friend of mine had French bulldogs. They were a lot of work, a lot of maintenance on healthcare.
Terrible. I don't recommend it to anyone. They're so cute. I don't know. They're my little friends, and they're always very charismatic, and they've always got something to complain about. But
Yep.
I like my little dogs. But they are the worst. They're the absolute worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where were we on that one? Yeah, I don't think. I don't think anybody's ever lost jump pay, but I could see that happening now. I could see that with the way some of the things I'm hearing out of group and things like that. But that's a different conversation. I don't have any information to back that up, but I could
Yeah.
see things like that happening now. Then, no, absolutely not. Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
So with free Pineland, did you? You said you just picked it. Did you have any consideration of that's gonna draw you a side eye from all of your generation of Green Berets of like, what the fuck's this guy calling himself Pineland here?
No, never even thought about. I didn't give a shit really. I
Yeah.
mean, um, it's one of them. I kind of looked at it as it was vague. It's vague, and if you know, you know, type thing. So, I wasn't real worried about if they did say anything. What were they going to say to me? I mean, I earned the right to use it. So,
No, I get
um,
that. Just
yeah,
people are weird. People are weird online. They guys will get
really
upset
haven't
about the
noticed that.
fucking weirdest. Yeah, oh, you really? Okay.
Yeah,
Um, as weird as counterintuitive as it sounds, the newer generation very accepting to a lot of things people are doing. A lot of complaining still, but man, and on some of these groups I'm in, these guys, there's no consideration for either sarcasm or just like underhanded humor. It's everything written as fact and taken
yeah,
as a threat. And then they'll get in the comments and I'll go, that's not exact. That's not what he said. Like you guys know he's joking, right? He's he's joking. And people go, no, we have to uh, burn the witch at this point or things
yeah.
like that.
No sense of humor.
None. The internet,
Yeah,
some at a certain age, the internet does not have a sense of humor. It's all taken as fact.
yeah.
Have you gotten any fucking weird comments from that?
Not really, because
Okay,
I
good.
haven't posted anything that's really like uh commentable, if that's a word. Um, yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out. So everything's real generic, I think. Um, just because I haven't, not that I care, but yeah, no, I haven't gotten anything. Probably will off of this. Now people are like, oh, he's free game. Now I'm gonna fuck with him.
Oh,
So,
I don't know. I
uh,
never know who's gonna look at stuff or anything like that.
yeah,
I hope, but as you said, with reconnecting people, really the one underlying hope from shows was when people have nothing is they'll come on, and as the show gets bigger, somebody from way out there in the past will go, I know that dude. I've been looking for
yeah,
that dude, and we'll reconnect people. I did like a cool one last night. I released the episode yesterday with Corey Heaton. He's a Sade guy
knife maker.
from yeah, and
Mhm.
his daughter shared the release post of the episode, and it's just like, look at my dad, the badass, and I'm like, that's so fucking cool, you know. Like I think I really do. It's like because a couple of people messaged me. I was like, oh, it's that's badass. You had a Sade on, and most people don't know what the fuck that is. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, man, special operations. That's my corner of the thing. I don't care if you got a following or not. You can come on my show. And but to have your kids share something and go, oh, that's cool. That's my dad. I think that's so fucking cool. Like
that is
that's
cool.
fucking badass. So
When
stuff like that.
when I started my Instagram, and my granddaughter, she's well, I'm 3, but my oldest is 16, and she came up as recommended on Instagram. So I texted her and I was laughing about it. She's like, "Why don't you follow me?" It's like you really don't want your grandfather, you know, following your Instagram. And so she started following me, and dude, I got the biggest kick out of that. That my granddaughter was following my Instagram.
It's fun. It's fun. I I have a personal Facebook and a personal Instagram. Never post any. It slacked off to nothing at a certain point. And then in January, I started this, and now everybody in my family follows me. And I feel like it's probably the first time that they're learning anything about me,
Yeah,
really, from the content I make. It's a wide range of content too. I, I can go from borderline offensive. I don't go because other guys will do offensive stuff like
Yeah.
just to. I go right up to the edge and I go, oh, let's pull it back just a little bit. All right, that's good there. And to God, that is sad. You know, that is. I never thought about something like that. To the one I posted yesterday, even I made it, and I'm like, God, that's tough to read. Stuff. So that this wide range of emotions and things like that, and then the things I'll talk about and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that are in my family that for learning about me for the first time because
No, there's stuff my wife still, when she finds out about it, she's like, really? She's like, I thought I told you that, 20 years ago. No, I'd remember that one. I was like, sorry.
it goes back to the, as you said, quiet professional or silent professional, right? And a lot of the guys when they get into group, they were already that way before.
Yeah,
You know, a lot
I
of
can see
guys,
that.
oh, I failed out of college, or I went to school, it wasn't for me. Well, what does that mean when somebody says I went to school and it wasn't for me? Fuck, you know, you went to school, you couldn't really connect with anybody, so you drank a lot and went to parties. But are you talking about life at parties? No, you're not. You know, so are you sharing anything about yourself with other people? Probably not. And then it didn't work out, and then you went back to your hometown, and hometowns are fucking weird.
Oh
Uh,
man, yeah,
so
yeah,
you
not a
kind of
good
start
place.
to keep to yourself because it's the same people you went to middle school and then junior high and then high school with, and they know stuff about you, but maybe it's not the most flattering things. So then you're like, oh, keep to yourself, and then you join the army, and you kind of push that into your career. That's my thought, my thinking path along the thing. So those people, a lot of
Yeah,
the guys that get in the group may have been that way before.
yeah. I mean, that fits for me. I never went to college. I took some correspondence courses after I was in, but or online stuff. But yeah, I can. That fits for me. Just if, other than a couple close friends, I didn't tell people shit. It was none of their business and wouldn't do any good anyway.
Why is that? Because they wouldn't understand it, they couldn't relate.
Both. I mean, especially after the army. I mean, what are you gonna? So I remember I had this one friend. We grew up together, junior high, high school, and it was funny. I went back. I wasn't in group yet. I might have been home after selection before I started the Q course. Can't remember. Anyhow, I met him. He'd been out of school for about a year, year and a half, and he was still working in a pizza place. And I was like, and he was a dude that was going to be very content, and that's fine. You know what? Somebody's got to make the pizza. Somebody's got to dig the ditches. You know. But I remember thinking, I was like, wow, how can you sit here and do this? You know, and not and just stay here. You know. But 8, 10 years ago, my brother told me he owns the pizza place and another one, and he's got a family. He's doing really well. You know, I couldn't see his path. He could, and he wouldn't understood mine. So
Yeah, but I bet if you sat down and had a beer and talked it out, you'd just like with our talking to our neighbors or the divisiveness in America. If we just sat down and talked with one another, we're not all that different.
no, no,
Success looks different to other people, and that's fucking badass. Like, oh, now the dude owns the pizza shop. He owns another
yeah,
pizza
it's
shop.
great.
That's fucking badass. I mean, hopefully he doesn't get tired of pizza. I
Yeah,
would be
but
devastated
that
if
would
I got
suck.
tired of pizza. That'd be downside, but no, that's
Yeah, I
fucking
think when I was
badass.
younger, though, it was more about the cool guy shit, like most of us. It wasn't about like the fulfillment, like right now, it's church, family, home, But then it was about jumping out of planes, blowing stuff up.
How early did that start? Because you're coming from a completely different generation that was marketed to in a way that isn't even God, I don't even know. Like how was that getting
Dude,
to you? Was it movies or what
no,
kind of psyop was used on you guys?
so we had Soldier of Fortune magazine and Mac Bolan books. So, have you ever heard of Mac Bolan?
I bet you're gonna tell me what it is.
It's just it was a series of books that was out. I can't remember the author's name, but yeah, that was it. It was all. SF cool guy shit. That's what we grew up on, you know. And I was what 16 when I started really messing with stuff I shouldn't have messed with, and nothing big. Like uh we'd try to make our own black powder, put it in straws to make our own firecracker type things. It never worked. But yeah, that was how I got my indoctrination though. Soldier Fortune and Mac Bolan. Them were probably the ones that did it.
Yeah, because you said you enlisted in '88.
Mm-hmm.
So, what kind of ads are being shown at that time? Because you really just have TV and you got some posters maybe around. Where are you living
Yeah.
at?
I was in Davenport, Iowa.
Okay,
It's
where
right on the
which
Mississippi.
the hub for nothing.
It's right on the Mississippi, and I grew up like 5 minute walk from the Mississippi, and that was it. Yeah. Um, Now ads, I don't remember ads. Um, what I do remember was I think it was Veterans Day. I was 16. Rock Island Arsenal was right there by my house, and we'd go there all the time. The Browning Museum was over there, really cool place. And they had for veteran, I think it was Veterans Day, but they actually had a Gabriel demonstration come out. So I got to meet a whole ODA on that day, and I'll never forget, man. These guys are there. They're in their OG 107s, the OD green uniforms, spit shine boots. Everybody's laid out medic weapon, and it was the most impressive thing I've ever seen. To this day, it still had an effect on me. And I think at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to do this because they were just the coolest thing, man. They were cooler than sliced bread.
Where was this at? This was at the Armory or
This
at
was
the
on
museum?
the this was at the Rock Island Arsenal.
Arsenal. Okay.
Yeah,
And
they just had a big demo out there of them guys, and they had some canine handlers and a bunch of other stuff.
what they bill it as is like these. This is a Green Beret team because if as a kid walking up, did you know what it was before
Oh,
you
I knew
walked? Oh,
exactly what they.
okay.
I knew what they were. Yeah, I'd never seen a real live Green Beret. You know, but again, in all honesty, they could have been support guys just fronting. Who knows? Um, but
Looking back now, were they support guys? I mean,
nah, they
if they
were.
looked that cool, they probably were the real deal.
These guys were. I mean, uh, they were what a 16-year-old expects a Green Beret to look like. You know, tall, lean, lumberjacks in uniform type thing. So, but yeah, they were cool as shit. We went up. Yeah, nobody cared about the medic thing or the demo thing. All I wanted was the guns. That was it. So went up and talked to the guy for a while, the Bravo, and pretty soon he's got us taking apart an AK and showing us how it works and shit like that. So yeah, it was cool.
The simplest one. Here, we can have the civilians do the one with three pieces.
Exactly.
They can't fuck this up. And even if they
Yeah,
break it, it'll still work.
yeah. It was funny because the Beret had just come out, the first iteration of the Beret, and my buddy that was with me actually knew what it was, and he's like, "Is that a Beret?" And the Bravo was kind of taken back. He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "It is," because my buddy he was a gun nerd. He knew all about it. So I think that helped him talk to us more.
But they drew you into enlisting a little bit
Yeah, yeah.
more than him. He didn't go.
No, I think he became a engineer somewhere. He never went in the military.
Oh,
No.
so he became successful. Okay.
Very successful. Yeah. But yeah, that was probably the biggest influence on me. After that, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Fucking awesome. So at 16 years old, you're like, I want to be like those guys. And I think a lot of it today, and I think that's what's like there's still you can't put your finger on it, right? Is what people latch onto. And it was different for me. I was trying to get out of where the fuck I was. And Green Beret sounded fucking cool and hard on top of it. I was like, I want to do that. But people latch on to different things. And when you see something like that, you can't really explain it. You're like, I want that. I don't know what
Yeah.
that is, but whatever that over there, I want to do that.
Mhm.
And And so that for you, that was a kid. That's so cool, right? To
Yeah.
have that and be like, I want that. I don't know what those guys do. Really know what they do, and I'm not going to find out for several
Yeah.
years.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No clue.
And even all the training they put me through, I'm not going to know then either. But when I get to the
Mhm.
team, I hope it's what I feel right now
Yeah.
is that cool thing. So that's pretty badass.
Yeah. And it was too. After I got my tab, I was clearing Bragg, and I don't know what the pipeline looks now like now, but it was just for me. It was the 8 or 10 months down at Fort Sam for the medic portion. Then we came up to Bragg for Goat Lab, and then Robin Sage, and then language school. So I just finished language school. And we were clearing. I was clearing, and I can't remember. I was up there by Smoke Bomb Hill somewhere, and I'm sitting there at the stoplight in my truck, and I looked down and I saw my tab, and I'm like, man, that's fucking cool. I was like, that was kind of the moment it hit me. Like I'd already been, I'd walked across the stage, what, 6, 7 months prior. And it was at that moment, it's like, that's fucking cool. So,
Yeah. You got to do that once in a while.
yeah.
Well, when nobody's around, I'll look at my stuff and be like, yeah, fuck yeah. I still fucking did it. I'm still a
Yep.
badass too. I don't let anybody dissuade me from that. I'm still a bad motherfucker. I could
There
be
you go.
sitting in a rocking chair. I'll be old and fucking disabled, and I'll be like, I'm still a bad motherfucker. But those guys you saw, okay, I'm fuck this up here. They didn't have tabs, right?
Yeah. Dead tabs.
Was that 80? When did it come?
80, that would have been
86?
86.
86. Okay. I was thinking, I'm like, 96 was too late. So
Yeah.
86, they had just gotten their tabs.
Yep.
And so that was a fresh new thing. So it had to be cool for them too to be out in public doing, because doing any detail fucking blows.
Yeah.
But like, I got this little thing now, and this probably one of their first times out in public, like all dressed up with the
Yeah. Could have
fucking
been.
tab. And a lot of guys, they got the tab and I got the Ranger tab. Because up till that point, it was just the Ranger tab on top for most guys. And so now they got
Yeah.
Special Forces and a Ranger tab.
Especially then, because back then, I believe in the 80s, I know when I first got into SF, it could, but everybody was wearing the Green Beret, even the support guys.
They were, yeah.
So I'm assuming back mid 80s, it was the same way. So that tab actually definitively said, hey, I am a Green Beret. I am, SF qualified.
Yeah. For my younger listeners at home, uh, Green Beret was you were in the unit. It didn't. You could have been the commo guy or
Yeah.
or just a regular RTO or something like that, or
The
supply.
rigger, cook.
Everybody, you were green. It was
Mm-hmm.
like it was equivalent to how the Rangers were. If you were in the Rangers, you wore black beret.
Yeah.
And then some dickhead general gave the army the black beret, and so they voted on the tan beret. And then now everybody wears tan beret in Ranger Regiment, but still a
So
process to
it's
get in.
speaking of berets, you were talking earlier about how, was it Corey's daughter, say, hey, look at my badass dad in that post. So my daughter was in the Navy, and she come home and she was stationed at Everett out in Washington, I think it was. And she's in one of the airports out there, and she's in uniform, and these three Rangers come up on her in uniform. This was after they had the tan beret. And this one's hitting on my daughter. She's a very pretty girl. And she's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we used to wear um, black berets, but then she went through he talked her through the whole tan thing. He's like, how do you like my tan beret? My daughter's like, yeah. Or first, I'm sorry. First, he started talking about rank. She was like an E1, E2. And he's like, yeah, I'm an E4, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah. She goes, my daddy's an E8. She said the guy kind of, okay, shake it off, get back in there. And he starts talking about the beret and talking about the tan beret. She goes, yeah, my daddy's is green. She said, dude just hung his head and walked away.
Yeah, you got to consider your audience there, right?
Yeah.
Because I to a like a junior, I call junior enlisted Green Berets E6s and E7s, right? Because you're junior enlisted until you make 8, and you could never make 8. Also, you could just stay 7 forever. But you're talking to a ranger who's been in the army like a year and a half, who's an
Yeah.
E4, and he thinks he's king shit. And then an E8 in the Rangers to an E4 is God, basically.
Yeah.
Like he'll fucking runs everything in your life. That's first sergeant. And so he's look at that from his perspective of like fucking Jesus on the high on the mountain, right? An E8 that decides whether he stays in the regiment or not. And he goes, oh, and he's agreeing, like, fuck, man, fuck this.
I'm not impressing nobody here.
I'm not impressed with shit. I thought
That's
I was
funny.
cool. He probably tells that story,
That's funny. Yeah,
because
they say the
all
biggest
perspective.
asshole in the world is a Ranger Tab D4. So
Could be. They're
yeah,
capable of mass destruction of not only the enemy but their own personal lives as well.
hmm
So um, full of piss and vinegar, always in competition with one another, trying to best each other,
yep,
getting ready for Ranger School, hitting the ropes. Give me one, all that other bullshit that they go through. I tell people message me about this and that. I go, listen, I was not in that unit. That's a fucking whole different animal. You
yeah,
you message a ranger because I'm pretty chill. I've
hmm
never been at that level of fucking sketched out in my life. Like they live a hard, fast life.
that was actually my first enlistment when I enlisted was 13 Fox Fort Observer,
Oh,
unassigned Ranger Regiment,
okay.
and we got to rip when it was still down at Benning on Cardiac Arrest Hill there in the World War II barracks. I think all we had left was Ranger stakes, like the last thing. And they came down and said, yep, MOS overstock. We got too many 13 Foxes. And so, like, you're up for wherever you want to go. Since it's breach of contract, you can get out, you can pick a new duty assignment, and we're like, no, we want to go to Ranger Bat. Yeah, we've been, 3 months, jump school and all that other stuff. That's been our focus. So we were amped up for it.
I'll bet.
But
I'll bet.
yeah, it's like, I ended up going to Italy. So
Okay.
that turned out
173rd.
better. Yeah. It was 3-3-2-5 at that point.
It's got to be disappointing, right? Because you're fucking locked in on,
But yeah, it
I'm going to
was.
do this. I'm going to do this. And then
Mm.
everybody around you all the time, like you guys are just feeding off of one
Yeah.
another. Um,
Yeah.
and you're coming, and I don't know at the time, did they send you to Fort Sill for basic and AIT?
Yeah. I went to Fort Sill for basic AIT. Um, Went from there, then leave, then Benning, jump school, and went to RIP, and then leave and over to Vicenza.
Mm, okay. So that's got to be a fucking shock to your system, Iowa, and then just Ranger Regiment, Ranger Regiment, Ranger Regiment. Oh, that's over. Italy.
Yeah, um, it was weird, man. So 13 of us went over to Vicenza. Several others went other places, but we stuck together, man. We held on to that dream of going to Ranger School for a year and a half, and finally we realized, yeah, maybe not that long. But finally we realized, wait a minute, I'm 19, 20 years old. I'm in northern Italy. You know, Austria's right there. Switzerland's right there.
Drinking
Yeah, why don't
age
we
is
just,
like 12.
it's like, exactly. We're like, why don't we just chill out and have some fun? So that's what we did.
No, that's got to be. And you're in phenomenal shape because you're just getting the shit smoked out of you all the time. And you show up to Italy to the 173rd, and it's like, hey guys, well,
So we actually, it wasn't like the 80s, and I can't teach, how do I say this? I never did 82nd time at Bragg. Yeah, I went right from Vicenza. It was a third of the 325 at that point. We still were some PT dudes, man. I mean, it was drinking and PT. That's what we did. So we were still in really, really good shape. And, that was best. I mean, we got to do a lot of cool shit over there. So,
that's badass. Yeah, the guy I talked to yesterday, he was 173rd in Italy. He said things changed over the years, but it's in early 2000s. You couldn't really train in Italy, so you'd have to go to Germany. Was it the same for you guys?
mhm. Yeah. So, we had the Cold War at that point. So that was an amazing time to be in the Army. And so we got to do some training in Italy. Where was Comorin was on, we did our winter training in northern Italy, Austria border. But yeah, a lot of time in Grafenwehr, Baumholder. Um, didn't go to Stuttgart. Where's the other one? Yeah, a lot of time in Germany. Uh, we did get to do one live fire artillery exercise in northern Italy, right along the French, or I think it was along the French border where we were at. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and we're talking some terrain here. We're not
Yeah.
talking Fort Sill, Oklahoma. We're talking.
No, um, everything was high angle, and the chickens. Did um, I called in one mission, and I actually lost a round into France. So I think I shot France at one point.
Ah, declared war with
So
France and didn't even
we
know it.
did, we did. So, but it was, I mean, it was a great assignment, man. We were 19, we had a good time. My seventh jump in the army was for the 45th anniversary of D-Day. So you can't beat
Yeah, the
starting your career out that way.
what was it? The 80
That was
first or yes, last month,
yeah, something
81st or
like that.
82nd.
Yeah. And it's weird because that was the 45th. I'm like, it can't be that long ago. You know, I mean, I met the guy who landed in the chicken coop. Um, the guy who landed on the church tower that hung there. He didn't make it, that he was sick or something. He couldn't make it that there that year. But just some amazing veterans we met there, man. It was just the shit that they did, just matter of factly, and you just look at them going, "Yeah, we're not worthy for this, man." Just to talk to you on what you did. So that was probably very cool. Probably one of the better experiences in the military.
Yeah, that's wild because yeah, most of the guys at that point were still alive. Numbers have
Mhm.
dwindled down quite a lot over the last 35, 40 years, and
Yeah,
that's got to be crazy because the place has got to be packed because
it was.
they're really starting to. I can imagine. I don't. I wonder when did that anniversary start getting really big? Um, because we've got 45, and then we go into Korea and then Vietnam. I can't imagine that it was really a thing during our involvement in Vietnam. We weren't as involved in it as much.
Yeah. I think somebody told us that the 45th anniversary was going to be the biggest because they were afraid they wanted it super big because they were afraid veterans wouldn't be alive for the 50th. So obviously they were, and it's gotten progressively worse. But I think the 45th at that time was like one of the bigger ones they had done, if not the biggest.
Yeah, so
So we
they're
had, I want to say there was 16, 20 planes that when we jumped in. There, because there's guys. We had our battalion, and then we had a couple battalions that flew over from Bragg and jumped in. So there was a lot of paratroopers in the air at that point.
what are they? Are they dressing you up in original
No,
stuff?
no,
Or okay, because they do
no.
that
I
now
think.
too.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
That's funny. No, we were just in Woodland Camo.
Okay.
So, yeah, did a bunch of parades, met a bunch of great people, just had a good time. Um, when you meet a vet that's like, there was this one guy. I got a picture of him up here. He was a mortar section sergeant on Utah Beach. His whole crew got wiped out, and so he set up the mortar and fired it himself. And he remembered seeing paratroopers drop in the background. And he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "You guys are braver than me because I couldn't do what you did." And I'm just like, "Yeah, I don't think that's how this works." But he went all the way to Berlin. Um, did he did 2 tours in Korea, and I think he did a tour in Vietnam. And I'm just like, "Holy crap, man!"
One of the 333 individuals to get 3 CIBs.
Yeah, could have. Yeah, it was weird. You look at his uniform, and it was like, a 10-year-old kid putting on my uniform. I mean, you could tell he was just a monster and just shrinking with age, man. But yeah, just stuff. He's like, yeah, we met the ranger that led the sergeant major that led the Rangers up Point de Hawk. Um, yeah, just just cool shit.
Now that's something, and yeah, for those listening at home, right, or people that understand, like the modern day one, we're talking about completely different things, right? There's very few of the veterans left, and they're old, like they're as fast as they're gonna be right? And
Yeah.
they're slowing down. Where you guys are meeting everybody, really they're still there. Like not only are most of them still alive, they're right there, and they can recall these stories very quickly, and
Yeah.
they want to interact with you guys because you're paratroopers. Like, you got this thing. Like, hey buddy, hey, you want to hear these fucking horror stories too that I went through and shit? And then they're talking to you. They're having just as much fun as you're having. So that's unbelievable to me, to just kind of to see that and think about that place and time, but be there with those guys, because
So
that's just one generation ago.
they were so matter of fact. Like there was no bragging. There was no like, hey, I got one harder. So like the Ranger, Sergeant Major, he was just like, oh yeah, so we came up the cliffs. I think they only I can't remember how many guys it was. They really didn't lose as many people as you would think climbing them cliffs. He goes, but yeah, we got up here and the guns weren't here. He goes, so we did what Rangers do. He goes, we sent out 2-man hunter killer teams. And we're just like, what? And so he was the one who found the guns, I guess. He goes, I tripped in the middle of the night, rolled down a hill, and there were the guns. And so he could see the Germans camped over there. So he spikes the guns, and then they just run. And so they get it. He said they got in a perimeter, like right by a crossroads. He said they waited for it to get full dark, and then he sent out 2-man teams to harass the German battalion. I'm like, you sent out 2-man Ranger teams to harass a battalion of Germans. And he was just really nonchalant about it. And yeah, that's what we did. I was like, holy crap, man. I'd be tooting my own horn for years for that one. So,
Yeah. Well, I can only think of it like, you know, what's that base? Fort Irwin, at ROTC, of that, actually, of doing that, because it's, hey, go fuck with the regular army or something, go plant
I
some
did that for 2
explosives.
years too.
And yeah, but that's in training. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's real life. Like, hey,
Yeah.
go fucking disrupt. Go do some fucking Cuba, UW, and
Mm-hmm.
from the local populace, some insurgent shit. Go do some
Yeah.
insurgent shit, and that's got to be just a different. Uh, that's something I can't wrap my mind around. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. That was a great experience. Um, and just amazing people.
When So that wraps up. You get to have that cool experience. We'll go back to the 173rd. Let's see, what year is it? So when does selection creep into your thoughts?
Um, let's see. I got there in '89, early '90, probably when I first went to the briefing.
What the briefing
Uh,
look like then?
uh, and we were all in an auditorium. It was mandatory, so you had to go. Any E4s and up had to go, and just the cool guy pictures. The Halo guy, the Sky Gods jumping out, and the the scuba gods freaking throwing their zodiacs and stuff. None of the true pictures of you just humping a ruck for hours and hours through shit. So, um, yeah, and that's kind of what it was. And then about a month later, I think we took the PT test and the swim test. I almost drowned during the swim test. So, buddy of mine had to jump in and freaking literally stand on the bottom of the pool and push me up. So, then redid it about 6 months later, I think it was, and then went to selection January '91.
January of 91.
We were in selection when the ground war kicked off in Desert Storm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you guys involved in that at all at 173rd?
No, no. So we were the third of the 325 at that point. So
Okay.
173rd
Oh,
came
you
in.
weren't. Oh, okay. So you weren't. So you were 80. You were 82nd.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar. If you fucking hate me in the comments, I love you. So, I'm unfamiliar with 82nd history, so forgive me
Yeah.
there.
It's yeah. 325 over there was a cohort unit. Um, it was fourth of 325. Then it was third, and then I was actually in Delta Battery 319th because I was an FO. Um, but yeah. Either way. No, we didn't. So we were in selection, um, and yeah, obviously, finished selection, got selected, and we came back, and then 325 didn't get involved in Desert Storm, but they were there. They went to PC1, Provide Comfort One, in northern Iraq.
Okay. So what was what was selection like in the 90s?
It's funny. I was thinking about this the other day when I knew I was coming on here. So we signed non-disclosures. I don't know if they still sign them or not. When you
Fuck,
go to
I don't
selection.
even, bro. I when people tell me stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, fuck. I just remember that we had to run everywhere. Uh, the other day when I went
Uh,
to this SFRE and I saw them running, I'm like, oh yeah, we had to do that shit. That fucking
that's
sucked.
funny. So we signed non-disclosures, and then 5 years later, they come out with a National Geographic freaking thing on selection. I'm like, um, it was hard, man. It was. I'm not gonna say it was easy. I was middle of the pack the whole time. Uh, it was just get up and grunge through it, man. That was all there was. Um, just monotonous hours under a ruck. We didn't have the star exam, so ours was just road navigation for selection. So it was just miles and miles and miles of sand. Um, the Trying to think of what days, if there's any that stuck out to me or anything. The day we got to sleep, I remember that we got in 3 o'clock in the morning after a ruck, and they're like, "Go to bed till you're woken up." And so we went back, showered, went to bed. They came in, they said, "It's breakfast. If you want to go, go. If not, you don't have to." I didn't. Came in at lunch, same thing. I didn't get out of bed till dinner. And then we all kind of just shuffled over, ate, went back to bed till the next morning. That's really the only specific I kind of remember from it. And breaking my foot. I did break my foot. So,
Sleeping all day and breaking your foot. That's
yeah.
interesting. I
3 miles into the last road march, I broke my left foot.
um, they call it the trek these days. Who fucking knows how long it is? I don't know. 25-ish miles or whatever the fuck or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
Did
we
you
were
guys
told
have one of
26.
those? Okay.
Yep, 26. That was the last one.
Okay.
So, and it was at that point, I remember feeling my foot break. It was one of the metatarsals. And I'm like, yeah, fuck this, man. I've been here 3 weeks. I am not stopping for something stupid like a broken foot.
Hmm.
And so I was like, I just kept going. Did it in 6 hours. So I was happy with that.
I fucking have no idea how long we walked. People ask me about that. I was like, bro, I didn't even look up. I just fuck this, fuck this for hours.
We couldn't have watches, but they called
No,
off your
yeah.
time when you crossed. So
No, I don't
that one
remember
stuck in
that.
my head.
Hmm. No, I don't remember that either. I think it was just everybody knew as long as you finished, you're good. Because we were we had to leave that day or some shit. So we knew. No, I don't think anybody quit on the trek. I don't think so. I don't think
Yeah.
because you 100% knew because you had orders. You got to be back to your unit and shit. We had to be back at your unit the next day.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, you're like, fuck this. Unless my leg fucking falls off, I'm gonna finish this shit. No. So you found out later that you broke it, but you knew while you
Well,
were
I
walking
knew.
you
I
had
knew.
broken?
Yeah, I was crossing a creek and I felt it coming up out of the creek. Just stepped on a rock. My foot slipped off and I felt it break.
Oh, get that sick feeling, and then
Yeah. It's just,
your mind takes over. Like, wait, we ain't stopping here, bud.
yeah.
Let's.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, this ain't done. I'm wet. I'm cold. You know, I was like, I'm still going.
All right, we fly back to Italy, plop that old sheet down on first sergeant's desk. What are things like after that for you?
Um, it was, well, at that point, it was hectic because they were actually getting ready to go to PC1. So they were getting ready to deploy. And, I was an afterthought for everybody, man. There was more important shit going on. They're like, you're out of here. They left me the hell alone. I don't think I did another formation the rest of the time. Oh. Um, they're like, yeah, you're going on, a lot of um, what's the word? Yeah, kind of that like fuck you, you're leaving us thing.
You did get that?
Yeah, I got that from
Even
not from
though
my
even though
not
it was
from
a
my buddy.
mandatory briefing, even though it was a mandatory briefing that you had to go to, you got
Yeah,
still what the fuck?
yeah, oh yeah. Um, Not from my buddies, but like from the mid grade NCOs. um, the Our commander and first sergeant were cool with it because like our first sergeant Serrano was this guy's name. Uh, he did like 5 tours in Vietnam, some shit, just crazy. Um, Actually got put up for the Medal of Honor, but got declined. So he understood wanting to do better, move on and do better things. So, but yeah, about the mid grade NCOs, there was a lot of, hey, screw you, you're leaving. We don't have time for you now.
It's because they went to that mandatory briefing too, and they didn't end up going. And they always
Could have
think
been,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I remember there was 2 E5s that had failed selection. Um, but I don't think they ever went back.
didn't want it bad enough.
Ugh. I don't know, dude. That takes some balls. I'll give you credit for that, man. Failing and going back. Uh, we had
Hey,
one guy. He was there on his. So let me see if I can remember this. He got hurt the first time. Didn't get selected the second time. Got bit by a water moccasin the third time, and he was back with my class and I can't remember if he got. I don't think he got selected. I don't know though. He came back that many times. He wanted it that bad.
fuck that. Wow. Um,
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
if I
good
could
with
have.
I'm good with two. Uh, Med pulled on the first one, killed it the second time, but it was so close. I knew what was going to happen. It's like I knew what to prepare for. I had it all
Yeah.
locked in my head. Um, but the guy interviewed last night, 18 X-ray, 21-day non-select,
Oof.
goes to goes to Italy, hellacious fighting, comes back to selection and fucking he's like, this is easy compared to what I just went through. Fucking smokes it. So
Nice.
um, yeah, there's it's sometimes that's my second guess to be an X-ray, not make it, and then come back and get it later, which
Mm.
I was asking somebody, when am I going to get one of these guys that didn't make it as an X-ray that came back and it was still there for him. I was like, that's badass. That's tough, because that's a
Yeah.
massive disappointment as a kid.
Yeah. We had back when I was in, we called them SF babies. Um, and I think more of them failed than made it. But I don't think they had the program. I mean, I don't think the program was near what it would be now. But it was rare to run into one that had actually made it.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah.
There, 2002, I think, when it became the program. And the guy who was the original cadre just reached out to me. We're going to get him on the show. Uh, they came up with that. It's pretty down to a science now. By the
Is
time
it?
they go to selection, they're ready for selection. The rate to get to that point, not as great as you would think.
Really?
Pretty low, especially back then. It was really low. But now the guys that are wanting to get there, it's fluctuating things. But once they get to selection, it's they're ready to go. And then it's the opposite for the regular army. A very low pass rate from the regular army,
Really?
historically low. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. I think when I went through, I think my number, I was somewhere in the 300s. Nah, that can't be
what?
right.
No, it can't be right. You would have been
Nah.
in the 30s,
I
maybe.
don't know why that's in my head. I mean, there was a bunch of us, but man, we were in the 20s, 30s that got selected. There wasn't that many. Um, I remember the room we all went into because we went to this one room, and they said we'll call a roster number out when you hear your number, go outside. And we didn't know what what it was. And we had whoever got called went out. there wasn't many of us, man. A couple dozen max.
Way.
When I got to fifth group, I went in the sergeant major, and he goes, let me guess, you want to go to a Halo, or he goes, you want to go to a dive team? I'm like, fuck that. Like, no way. He goes, well, let me guess, you're gonna go to a Halo team. I'm like, fuck that too. It's like, once your feet leave the ground, when things go to shit, I've lost the ability to run away.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
I no, God, divers, fantastic athletes. Holy fuck.
Mhm.
I think about, I'm out. I never got to go. I was supposed to go to Mac. I got hurt the weekend or the week before in training before Mac. Uh, I'm in the pool all the time. I'm going to the pool after we get done recording here to swim my mile. And fuck, man, I think about dive school all the time. I don't want, but I like, it's like a, could I pass it thing? We go to Key West. I can go to Key West on Monday. I'll pass the events. I'll pass all the other stuff, but I'm afraid of the water, like legitimately afraid of the water. And I'll go down the pool and I'll just restrict my breathing and I'll be like, no, I'm in charge here. But then I look at the water and it's nice and clear. And like I swim right up on lane 1 where I can grab the wall anytime I want and I can get out because it's always right there. It's nice and calm. And then I think, and then I like change the color of the water in my eyes to black and then I can't see anything and I start going, nope, that ain't gonna fucking happen. Like it's, this one person that swims next to me occasionally, they're like, do you do Ironmans or triathlons or something like that? I was like, I don't think I could do that. I'm afraid of the water. Like
Yeah.
and there's something about it now, especially after getting hurt. I'm like, that that black. I don't know if I can do it again because
Yeah.
the last time I was in water and I was uncertain. I just go to close my eyes and I can see that. I'm like, I really thought I was gonna die, and that would take something to get me back in the water where I can't see what's going
Yeah.
on. I can't stand up. So
No, I don't blame you. I mean, I won't, unless I'm wading across any water I can't wade across to fly fish, I don't go in it.
well, your waders will fill up with water if you yeah.
Yep. Even
That's a
then, but
no
like I don't
brainer.
swim. Yeah, I don't swim in rivers and ponds, and like I'll wade into fish areas, but yeah, that's about it.
Mm. Well, those days are over.
Yes.
So the course for you guys, was it 3 phases, I think? So phase 1 was your SUT and shit at
No,
McCall.
no.
You guys didn't have that?
Uh, well, we had. I think we were at we did phase 13 ultimate. So we did selection, which was always just separate. Then from medics, we went to Fort Sam, and I
Yeah.
did 8 or 9 months down there. And then we came back for and did the actual the continued medic phase, goat lab, which was 4 or 6 months. I can't remember which. And then we went out to what was phase 13 at that point, Robin Sage, SUT stuff. I think that's how it went.
Maybe. Everybody's it's been jumbled so much over the years and moved
Yeah.
back and forth and gets refined and optimized. Who knows what's actually best? They claim all the time that the course is the best it's ever been or whatever. We're moving forward, and then they'll make it a version that it was 8 years ago when it was the best it was
Yeah.
ever then, and then we had all the bests in the middle there and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So, um, but now everything's at Bragg. They've got these beautiful buildings and these labs and these classrooms, and everything's very refined and professional. And now, nobody wants to be Green Beret or you know.
I felt bad for the med students, for the deltas when they left Fort Sam. I mean, we had it made down there, dude. Uh,
Well, how so?
um, well, on the professional side of it, like if you had a question about like renal fizz, well, you went down to the to Womack or to the schoolhouse there where they trained Army doctors on renal fizz, and you talked to them about, hey, this is what I want. If you wanted to go into a cadaver lab because you had questions on something, you could get the main guy to, so you had these great resources. Um, all of our instructors down there were most of them were former seventh group guys from that did time down in El Salvador, so they had a lot of real world experience at that point. Um, but the other big thing, man, you could unwind at Fort Sam. You know, you could go out, you could party, you could have a good time. It wasn't like Fayetteville, you know. Um, so for us, me and my buddies, like we would go out. Like what was it? Friday night was our big night out, or Thursday night. Thursday night was the big night out because Friday was always road march, and then just kind of make up things through the week. Yeah, then you spend the weekend, doing some stuff for fun, but you catch up on your studying. But you could just get that unwinding. You could decompress. That I don't know if they get that at Bragg or they got that at Bragg.
Well, uh, the deltas now, they when I went through, they were either you couldn't find them, they were buried in the books or studying, or they were out partying. I mean, hardcore. So, how was Fayetteville back then in the early '90s? Because today it's a fucking metropolis. It's absolute. I just drove through it last month. It's there's so much shit there now. Even from when
Really?
I was there and that was 10, 11, 12 years ago. There's so much more shit. There's no roads that go through base anymore. There's these big interchanges that go around and highways and shit. They finished all that. There's signs that say Fort Liberty. There's signs that say Fort Bragg. And then there's all kinds of things in the middle. It's fucking crazy how big
Oh.
everything is now.
No, it was well. One, it was all open at that point,
Yeah.
so you could come and go, which was great. Um, Man, they called it Vietnam for a reason, dude. Um, Korean strip clubs. You had Rick's. You had the Flaming Mug. There was them were the places you went, like with your buddies to unwind and stuff. But like to go out, like to meet women, to have a good time, whether it was to get a girlfriend or just a one night stand, man, that was like impossible to do. Anywhere you went, that was to party, have a good time. Man, the cops were all over them places. So the only way you could, if you wanted to drink and get drunk and be safe, like as even if you had a designated driver, it was iffy when you were out. You had to go someplace, somebody's apartment or something like that. Um, yeah, it was. There was nothing there. It was like I said. It was strip clubs and sew shops, man. That was it. So
That is not how it is now. It's
that's
fucking
crazy.
nuts. Um, and I didn't hang out too much on in Fayetteville. I lived on the north side, so I didn't. And even that, I just drove through that. There's so much more shit up there. There's all brand new businesses and things like that. So, but that's what comes with 22 years of
Yeah,
constant deployment
yeah,
cycles and that GWAT money to fix things up. And the economy is
yeah.
completely based on the base now. Actually, I don't even think it's probably bigger than the base is now. That it can
Really.
support itself. Yeah, there's a lot of shit
Yeah,
going on there.
I probably haven't been down there in 20 years. When I was down there, when we were in language school, we lived in a trailer park in Spring Lake. Oh, me and three other dudes, man, we're renting a trailer, and yeah, pink flamingos out front, an old dilapidated love seat out front. Yeah,
That is that's the SF way right there.
mhm,
Because are you an NCO at this point?
yeah. I was. I got my E5 in Med Lab in Goat Lab, and then E6 after I was in group. But yeah, at that point I was an E5.
And you're living in a trailer in Spring Lake with three
Yep.
buddies.
hmm
What was
During language school.
during language school?
Yeah. So depending on what room part of the trailer you were in, you were gonna hear. I was in Russian. One of the guys was in Tagalog. One was in Korean. The other three guys were all third and ended up going to first group. So it was all languages based off that.
What's the like failure rate look like throughout the course for you for guys just falling away?
Fort Sam was pretty high. Um, the literally the only back then the cracks were a lot wider. That's how I managed to slip through. So, um, but down there we had a pretty high attrition rate. Uh, Med Lab wasn't that bad. If you made it that far, unless you had a goat die that wasn't, for no reason or whatever, and you got murder boarded, you were pretty good. Star took a lot of people out, but if once you got as a medic, if you got through Star, you were making the rest of it. Unless you really stepped on your dick, you were going to make it through the rest of it because that was the last big hurdle for medics. Uh, you could kind of not ghost, but you knew you made it at that point.
Mm. Okay. So you get out of Fort Sam, you come back to Bragg. You're reunited with everybody, right?
Yeah, more probably
Or
united
was
because
this is united because you didn't know because so
never
you
met.
you started out at Sam Hughes, Fort Sam.
Yeah,
Okay, so now
yeah.
you're coming together as a class for the first time of your potential graduating class.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, we weren't. Everybody was doing their own MOS thing, so you would pass guys like we didn't have like a big, all the MOSs together. We were all doing our own thing. You'd pass each other, going to your own areas or out somewhere. That was it. You
So
didn't really
real,
come together till Robin Sage or till
yeah, real
McCall.
disjointed. So we were not that like I had potential to go through. I mean, everybody had their different jobs, but I had 20 bros, and we all wrecked shit throughout the course. We
I
just
know.
went straight through all together. Because when you're at MOS, you saw each other the least, but there were phases where you're all together in formation. Phase one, which isn't even there anymore, uh, we became tight there, and then we went into SUT, which SUT was like 6 or 8 weeks, and we're all out there together. And then we come back for SEER, and we split up a little bit, but we're still seeing each other. And then everybody disappears for MOS and goes out to their schoolhouses, and then back for Robin Sage, and we're all back together again, just wrecking shit together. So it was a more of a team environment, uh, going
Yeah,
through
we
the
didn't have that at
course.
all, man. Um, I couldn't tell you anybody that was in the MOS, other MOSs when I was going through.
Really?
Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't until we got to McCall and started our, the Star and stuff like that that we started seeing people regularly.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. So what's Robin Sage like for you? And did everything that you did up to that point prepare you for Robin Sage? Because
No,
that's
fuck.
the no, not
No. So Sage stage started. I mean, it's shitty. Like I said, we sat there. A bunch of us got sick. It wasn't just me, but so we jumped back into McCall. So we packed up for Robin Sage, and we get everything loaded up. Our rucks were topping like 130, 140. Typical. Um, they came in and random weight rucks. They wouldn't let us jump anything over 60. So we had to unpack everything. We palletized the rest of it. Get kitted up, jump. Like I said, I'm literally open canopy and I'm throwing up as I'm coming down. And we hit the drop. We jump the drop zone there in McCall. Get on trucks and each team gets on their own truck. We go straight out. Did we go? Oh, we had to go back to the hooches, load up our rucks with the rest of the crap, and then they bust us out to Uwari. And then it was, I don't know, an 8,000-mile death march through fallen timbers, to get to our location. And um, one of the OCs we had, one of the evaluators we had with us, actually fell and hurt his leg on the info. So we had to leave him behind to get picked up, and then another one because we're running. You're on time limit when you got link up, and then another one linked up with us. Somewhere down the road. But no, it's just a lot of harassment. Honestly, I can't say that at Robin Sage at that point was any um where I could say, yeah, this all this stuff, culminated in this was useful in this exercise. That makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the medic part, nope, unless somebody got hurt. Um, I gave one IV Uh, and back then, we weren't issued nods. We weren't all issued nods. And I think there was only like 2 sets. So the big thing was given an IV. I hate why did I do that. Under a red lens flashlight. That was what the big standard was. Oh, if you could do it under a red lens flashlight, it's like anyhow. That was probably the most medical thing I did in Robin's age.
Fucking medic did it when I was had to go out there and be a G. He had to do it in the dark on me, and that was nerve wracking. And he, you'll appreciate this one because you're a Delta. So I'm fucking like strapped to this piece of plywood, and I got fake blood all over me. And he like pulls my arm up, and you can't see because I got this on it, but my vein is about this big
Yeah.
uh, underneath my shirt here, and he feels that, and he goes, "Oh fuck yeah." And because he knew that's all he had to, he's like, I'm gonna pass, like it's over,
Yeah.
it's over, I'm gonna graduate next week. Fucking he just fucking, you just hear him taking, he just stick, and he's like, fucking yeah, we're good, all right,
Nice.
I just got to talk through this procedure with the cadre here. Meanwhile, I'm fucking freaking out in the back of this fucking pickup truck. We're going 1,000 miles an hour down a fucking dirt road with a tarp over the top of us, and this motherfucker's prodding me with a fucking 18 gauge needle or whatever the fuck it is. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Because the cadre just, he didn't tell me anything. He just puts this thing over my neck and starts spraying me with goo and going, hey, you're dead.
Wow.
And I go, yeah, looks like I am dead. I got shot in the stomach. Oh, fuck. And
That's
man,
funny.
but he's all happy. He's going to graduate, and I'm fucking losing it. Like, fuck.
That's funny. Medics are twisted anyway. They always were.
Our medics were nuts, nuts. They're fucking doing. They Robin Sage was different for us. It was all the boys got back together, and these boys have been partying. And the Deltas learning doing this show and talking more with other guys about different cadre and different lanes and things. Our Deltas knew they were going to graduate because our TAC or whatever they called it, our NCOIC that was coming through was like a 18 Bravo. He didn't give a fuck about the medical stuff. He was hitting on
Gotcha.
just a few people, and they weren't. There wasn't the Deltas. They're fucking. They're doing neck sticks in the bay and shit. I'm like, whoa, boys, we need to fucking stop doing this. I get it. We're all the same rank here, but okay, somebody needs to be an adult. Let's not fucking do this ever again here.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we got to show. It's like, this isn't practical, guys. Go work on the shit that I told you to do. Fucking stop sticking each other in the dick. We don't need to learn fucking IV dick sticks or some shit like that
Exactly.
next. We're gonna escalate until somebody gets hurt. But those guys, the Deltas in my class, they were fucking party animals, man. They were stressed out, stressed, and then they were de-stressing. That's the only two avenues they had for life.
That's how Fort Sam was. Um, like I said, we'd go out. So get up, do PT. It's 8 hours of class a day, and it was hit the chow hall, back to the room. You're studying until 10, 12 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock, and so I remember one of the things I do remember was like if they said, okay, what is the third contraindication for this drug in this patient? They wanted the third one that they had listed in the book, not just number, a third, they wanted the specific number they'd listed. So you had to just rote memorization on so much of this stuff. So Thursday, because Friday was a road march, and then typically it was a lighter day. So Thursday was the night we would just go out and just tear it up. Just you had to get rid of it. You know, um, you know, kind of suffer through the road march on Friday morning, get through the day Friday. Saturday was a typical, like I said, was you go to the zoo or you go hang out at the park or go to a movie, just take it easy. But you're still studying probably 6 hours still. Sunday was clean the room and study all day. So if you didn't decompress, man, you were just going to blow up.
Yeah, that's very important. I've talked to a couple of fitness influencers, soft fitness influencers. Their primary focus is getting guys trained up and personal training and things like that. And the one of them, I went, "Hey, yeah, man, that's all great, all these programs and everything." But then I said, "What'd you do during the course?" And I was like, "Don't before you finish, let me tell you what I did." And he goes, "Yeah, that's what I did too." And I go, "We fucking killed it. Like we like what's the difference? Is it generational now that they're being all this?" Like, and he goes, I never thought about it. Let me think more about that. And he wrote a little piece about it, about the importance of blowing off some steam. But there's a healthy way. There's a like you guys had it down to a 7-day cycle. You can you can let it consume your life, or you can let off that steam and say, all right, we're gonna sweat this out during this road march, and we're gonna get back to work.
Yeah.
Is that
Our way probably wasn't the healthiest, but it was effective. And the guys I saw fall a lot to the side were ones that were just like, nope, I'm sticking to this regiment. Yeah, I'm just studying. I'm just studying. I ain't got time to go out. I don't, the guys who, for me, it was drinking, going out. Some of the guys did a lot of dirt biking. They had their dirt bikes down there, so they go out riding on weekends, um, stuff like that. But yeah, you have to, man. You have to get rid of that pressure.
everybody does it differently? So interesting, but everything changes. Everything changes now. You guys are far away from the flagpole. Everybody else stayed there at Bragg and was
Yeah.
living that life. Like, you guys are way off in fucking la la land, and there's no 18 Delta cadre there, is there?
No, there's nothing. I mean, I'm 19th group. I think they're still here. Bravo Company. That's who I finished up with. Um, but yeah, there's no real. I don't have many SF guys around me. There's not like a community of them around. And I live out in the middle of Amish country. My closest neighbor is my daughter, who's 100 yards away, and she's I'm 5 acres, and my next neighbor's a ways away. And they're Amish, so
So not a lot of loud parties coming from them.
no, you'd be surprised, dude. There's some drinking Mo doing.
I've
We got
seen the reels. Yeah.
one guy who likes to drink, and only during the summer. He rides a horse bareback, and he's got a great voice. He comes by about 2 nights a week singing. So drunkard and shit, but man, he's got a good voice. So
Yeah, there's some funny clips out there of like cops like looking in the buggy, and the guy's passed out, and the other, like, it's a junior cop, and he goes, "Guys, he's passed out," and the senior cop kind of waves him off and goes, "The horse knows where to go. Let him go."
yeah. He's not driving; the horse is.
He ain't
So,
driving, the horse is in control here.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. When we
no,
moved
that's
out here, it was kind of eye opening. They're just people, man. They're not any more devout, less devout. You know, uh, you know, some of them drink, some of them don't. You know, they work concrete, they farm, they do different things. So
so. You pass things at Fort Sam, and you come back to Bragg, get together, go through Sage, jump into Sage. Okay, that fucking sucked. We get to a hand you a beret. You're a fucking Green Beret now, and they ship you out to 10th Group.
we were at
And
Devon's at the time.
oh, Devon's.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so did anything in the Q course prepare you for being a Green Beret in group?
um, I knew what my job was, and there was, you know, the medic side of things. Yeah, that prepared me on that, but there wasn't, um, coming from because I was, the deal. I was an FO attached to airborne infantry, so I knew how to patrol. I knew, small unit tactics at that point. But no, getting into group and just realizing, the schedule and everything else it was. Um, my first day in group, I got there. I was supposed to report on whatever day. I got there a couple days early, and I walk into company, and I'm in civilian clothes, and this guy comes out. The sergeant major, Pete Holmberg, great guy. Just he was in Vietnam. He was one of the Santoy Raiders. Just a phenomenal dude. He comes out and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" So I introduce myself. He goes, "Come with me." So I go back to his office. It's a little office. And this dude has the biggest Nazi flag I've ever seen in my life. Thing's huge. He goes, "Help me fold this." I'm like, what the fuck is that? It was the original flag from Nazi headquarters, Prague, Czechoslovakia, from World War II. And he was a big World War II buff. He collected all kinds of stuff on it. But I'm just like, dude, I was in shock. I'm like, oh my God, what is this going to be like? So, but he was a great sergeant major. So, but yeah, that was my first day.
Fuck, hey,
Their
help me
first
fold this
introduction.
Nazi flag. Like,
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. A totally normal SF
Yeah.
experience. Uh,
Yeah. So,
Casual day.
yeah,
Hmm.
back then there was 10th group had a lot of ties to Nazis, not Nazis. I mean, you got to look how we got our start. 10th group had a lot of former Nazis, or former German soldiers and stuff when it started. So there was a big influx on that. So, um, yeah,
I barely know first group's history. I'm not going to pretend to know
mm,
any of the other groups. I know enough to make funny content, and as I say, nobody makes fun of first group more than I do. So nobody can say anything that I haven't heard. So, but all right. So get to a team, go through your career. What's daily life like in the '90s? Because the instructors, the retired cadre instructors, when I went through the course, they're they're like, you guys don't even fucking know, because we're going through in the like teens, right, early teens, and they're like, in the '90s, there's no fucking money, there's no training. We're taking POVs out to the range, and because we don't have gas even to put in the vehicles, and just painting this weird picture. What was it like for you guys for training in the '90s?
yeah, it was like that. Um, I mean, it was all other than some flare ups now and then. You had, Desert Storm, PC 1 and 2, Panama, stuff like that. There was little things going here and there. Um, it was training, man. That's all. It was a training army. It was I'm sorry, peacetime army. Um, yeah, I remember driving my loading ammo up in my truck when I was at Devon's, especially loading ammo up in my truck, driving to the range so we could shoot because uh, either Humvees weren't running because they didn't have parts. We didn't have a way of getting gas in them. Um, if you got a lot of, we did a lot of skiing in 10th group. There was that. Um, but if you got to do live fire stuff, that was once a year. I mean, we didn't just there wasn't money for it.
Wasn't money to do live fires.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's like unheard of now. It's
Yeah. Yeah, and then when we got to Carson, they spent 85 million on that compound. I think that up there, and it was inadequate. I mean, it was phenomenal for what we had at Devon's, which was all World War II, era stuff. But yeah, then if you wanted to go to the range, man, it was hard because even you needed a company to go do qualifications because you had to have air guards, left and right security, road security, all this stuff that Carson had on, for the conventional rules. And yeah, I mean, you qualify a couple times a year, but that'd be about it, man. There wasn't, you know, if you got to go do demo, it was during a J set or something like that where you got additional funding.
Yeah, for context, I guess some crossover. One thing you just said there, when fifth went up to Campbell, they ran into the same shit. They got lumped in with the 101st's um, training uh, rules for training. This what do they call them? The standard SOPs, training SOPs.
Yeah.
So they had to be in the fucking same uniform and wearing the same kit that they didn't use, and do the same exact shit to standard, until somebody said something to the group commander once and goes, "Hey, are you aware that we can't train how we fight?" And he goes, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he drafts up a memo, and that was taken care of. So that was the same for you guys when you guys got up to
Yeah.
Carson. You're just lumped in with the regular army out there.
Yeah, was it is it fourth ID out there at Carson?
I think so.
Fourth or third? I think fourth.
Third,
Yeah,
it's
they
not third. Third's down south.
okay. Yeah, commander out there hated us, man. Just it was brutal. Um, yeah, if you want to go do a range, I mean, helmets, whatever they had for flak jackets at that point, complete with the NBC the gas masks, just all this stuff is like it was hard for like the first year to get anything done. Um, we'd look for chance to go do flyaways to go somewhere else just so we'd have some freedom to do some training.
SF was not what it kind of became into today. Maybe it went a little too
Yeah,
far in what it is today, but that comes with what it was asked to do over the last 25 years and things like that.
yeah.
But yeah, I could see all that happening. That's weird. You guys saw the same thing that Fifth saw when they went up to camp. I wonder if Seventh went through some of the same things when they went down to Eglin as well. So
I don't
interesting.
know. Hope not. That was, I mean, and I think 10th group would have been better off staying at Devon's because at the time, the only people there was us, the MPs who deployed with us. So we were friends with most of them. I mean, they were good dudes. They didn't fuck with us. And then there was like an intel school or something there. So if you got something like you got ammo and you wanted to go to the range, it was literally just calling up the range and it's like, hey, Jim, can I come down and shoot? And they're like, yeah, pick whatever you want. They were cool with us. But then moving to Carson, um, that was just a shit show for a couple of years, man. Just hard to do. And then Colonel Tony was a commander at the time. We get out to Carson, 2 weeks, dude. We haven't even unloaded our Connexes yet. He's got us slated to go to Rwanda. So we're stripping through freaking Connexes to find some kind of equipment so we can get ready to deploy to Rwanda. It's like, come on, dude.
That sounds terrible.
It was. And then we never even went. We made it as far back as Devon, stayed there 2 weeks, and went back to Carson. Now, yeah. Now, Tony was a big guy. He was a big believer in to beg forgiveness and ask permission.
Okay.
So he's like, hey, I'll just get you guys into Africa and then we'll find something to do. Okay.
That's an SF thing. Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
just go figure this shit out, man. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out later. Okay. Well, so what was team life like? Coming up. So you get, everybody's pretty much everybody has regular army experience. There's very few guys coming, off the streets as I think Rep 63 was what it was called or something like that
I
prior.
remember that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
But
That
almost
title.
everybody's coming from the regular army, and the team room is by today's standard old. Like you got everybody's in your 30s, right?
Um, I was 22
Really?
when I got to my team. Yeah. Um, and I think the next oldest guy was mid to late 30s. So I was by far the youngest person on the team.
That's a big gap. How did you
Mm-hmm.
deal with that?
Uh, dude, I just tried to suck up knowledge. I mean, you had guys that, the, you know, you try to learn what you could. Like luckily my team sergeant was a former Delta. So he had a lot of insight on stuff like that. But most of these guys, again, they're all coming from peacetime armies too. I mean, we had been to anything significant in years and years. But yeah, you just try to learn what you could on stuff. 10th group at that point was a lot of winter warfare focus. Just for the time frame, that's what we were tasked for. So it was a lot of going out, freaking making snow caves, snowshoeing, that kind of shit, and skiing. We did a lot of skiing.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
fun for
typical day in
skiing
the
for
team room,
fun
man.
or
You come
just
in. What's that?
skiing for fun or skiing for shitty?
No, it was fun. We used so we had to use their gear. So we were skiing in Gore-Tex and camouflage Gore-Tex and that. But our equipment was top notch. It really was. We had top of the line skis and boots. Um, they were cross country alpine type skis. I don't know if you know anything about skiing, but um, no, it was great equipment. So the skiing was enjoyable because it wasn't like the old white rockets and moon boots we used to have back in the when I was in the 82nd. Now, so we'd have the you did a lot of I don't even know what you call it, cross country skiing, the movements on skis, But yeah, it was good and bad.
What's this? Yeah, are you getting any schools or anything like that? Is that still a thing? No,
Back then, you didn't. I
nothing.
mean, it was hard. I got. We went to. Um, where did we go? Oh, we went to San Vito. Went to Italy for. We were running search and rescue into Bosnia during the Civil War, and so that was a lot of money. Good training there. A lot of shooting there. Um, and then from there, I got a paramedic school slot, and I think that might have been the only school I got while I was in 10th group.
Do you know, quick sidebar, do you know about the Delta course now?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Those dudes are coming out, and then I'm fairly certain this is correct. They're coming out with bachelor's degrees and they're paramedics when they come out of the Delta course.
Jesus.
I could be wrong there. That bachelor that might need a couple extra classes, but it's all fucking. It's so wrapped up in those
Wow.
dudes are coming out set to go, like practice medicine out the door.
Good for them. That's
Yeah,
good.
they've got it figured out down there.
Yeah. Bad for the teams though, because you're probably getting a lot of guys jumping ship.
It's olive group. It doesn't matter. Everybody, nobody's staying.
Oh, really?
Supposedly they're losing two for every one they make.
Why? What's going on? I mean, just
Supposedly.
because the war's over?
Um, I've got a lot of unfounded, unverified rumors that I'm hearing, but it's it's just not how it was. Things aren't how it was, and I think the people coming in, the guys coming in, are seeing that this isn't what I was sold. Like we're getting into the '90s again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Things
Okay.
things are going to get smaller. They're going to shrink. Schools are going to go away, and our mission primary is to go teach other people how to kill themselves, kill their countrymen, or defend their homes, and that's the primary mission. And we haven't. I mean, we have, but we haven't focused on that for 25 years. And now maybe we're going to get back to that. So everything's changing. There's a lot of things that go into it. Generational stuff, command. The officers are different than
They've always
they.
been fucked up. I mean,
So
a couple good ones, and the rest were just trash.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but if you get a slew of officers that think a certain way, the regiment will change. But
Yeah.
everything that swings this way is going to swing back that way.
Yeah.
So
In the past couple months, I've had a couple guys. One was a 160th pilot who retired. The other was he's a group guy. I can't remember what group he was in, but they called me looking for training. And the 160th guy said something, and I didn't think about it. So when I joined in '88, it was a peacetime army up until 9/11, basically. This guy joined after 9/11 and retired before Afghanistan fell, before that fucking debacle. So his whole time was in a war footing. And I was like, it just struck me as weird, you know, because I guess mentally I knew it, but I just never thought about it. Then this other guy called me and he joined after 9/11, like years after 9/11, and he was in, I don't know, say 10 years, and then Afghanistan fell. He stuck it out a couple more years, but he goes, it's kind of, I didn't join just to be a peacetime army. He got out. I was like, wow, it was weird, man. It was just kind of, I don't even know what the word is. It is freaky that to think about it that way. I never thought about them two mentalities.
yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. A fuck ton. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of people that only served during that period,
Yeah.
and it all is perspective, right? I think I know uh, that going to combat as a Green Beret or all these other things, that's not the gig. Like the gig is you're the fucking best, whatever you're doing. Like you're gonna go do this, train this army over here. You're gonna be the best at it. You're gonna go work at the embassy. You're gonna do that. You're going to go be at the schoolhouse. You're going to be the best at that also. And you're going to go to combat. You're going to be the best at that. So it's not pigeonholed into this one thing. And they've
Yeah.
lost that message of the base of what it is. And it got diluted, and they got to get it back, and convey that, because if you compare us to Ranger Regiment, never changed. Always,
Oh,
always
really?
that they're this is what we do, who we are. This is what we do. These are the guys we recruit, and it's always there. And we're this way.
Mm.
Tempo's gone up and down and everything, but their primary job is to support Delta, and we got to be ready to do that in whatever capacity. And it's always a competition and things. I don't think they ever lost sight of that. Where we got pulled in 50,000 different directions
Yeah.
and
It,
pulled
we
everything
always got
apart.
pulled, but just never. It's probably worse now, or was, for the past 20 years.
Yeah, and group got very big, doing a lot of shit, doing a lot of shit. Like, uh, I mean, there were 3 battalions when you were there, or two, three?
3.
Okay, and so they added a 4th battalion. That didn't work, so they shrunk back down, and now they're too big now. So there's rumor that it's gonna get even each group's gonna get smaller. That's unconfirmed, but they did ghost 50 teams 2 months ago. That's a real thing that did happen. 50 teams got
Really?
dropped regiment wide. Yeah.
See that? It's because, again, in 5 years, they're going to be going, hey, we need to fast track some freaking guys through the course. We're short.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
that's happened over and over.
they can't do it right now. We're not
Yeah.
going to get too much into stuff, but they if they even wanted to push people through, it's not going to be enough right now. So,
Yeah. Damn.
but
Yeah. Never learn.
no, like I said, everything swings back one way to the other, and I'm not in those positions to make any of those decisions. And I have the luxury now that I'm, technically in the elder generation. I can just draw this hard line, imaginary line, and go, "That's y'all's fucking problem. I got I got this section of the
Yep.
population to worry about."
Not my circus, not my monkeys. I'm staying out of it.
That's right. I can dip in, and then when I go,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I've had enough of this. I can just dip back out. All right, you guys worry
Yeah.
about it. You jumped around a bit: 10th, 5th, 20th, and 19th. No, you don't have to apologize. That shit happens. I guess with I'm just learning a lot about the National Guard as well. That it's even a real thing. Mostly because when you're active, you go, what the fuck are those guys even doing? And so now I'm learning about it now that I'm out, that I'm able to take in the knowledge. Because when you're on a team, you don't fucking know anything that's
Yeah.
going on
Yeah.
other than the team room. So you jump over to 5th. Why'd you move over there?
So got married when I was in 10th group, and getting married after you're in group is, I think that's a selfish thing to do. So got married, brought my wife, met her down in paramedic school, brought her up to uh, Carson, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go win conventional, and went to Fort Irwin, got sent to Fort Irwin, and there was I'd gotten in some trouble at that around that time too, and we had Colonel Lambert at that point was freaking gunning for me anyway, that prick fuck. Um, and
Don't hold
so I
back.
went to
Tell me
Fort.
how you really feel.
Oh, dude, it was funny. So he actually wanted to take my tab, and the so I ran into him later when we got activated when I was in 20th group, and I actually went up to him and I'm like, hey, he was general at that point, and I'd already been through the U.S. Marshals Academy, and so I didn't give a shit about, I had a job on the outside. I was like, hey, you remember me? You tried taking my tab. I was like, look where the fuck I'm at now.
Oh,
So he didn't remember me.
no, absolutely not.
No, I went to Fort Irwin for a couple of years,
Blackjack?
and that was what's that?
What's that, Blackjack or something like that? Or
Fort
what do they
Irwin,
call that unit? No, that unit you went to the
Black
regular
Horse.
Army unit
Black
there?
Horse.
Black Horse, that's it.
Yeah. Yep. And honestly, that was an easy gig. It was a good gig. Kind of getting used to the family life type thing. Schedule's real easy. Desert sucks. Um, Came down on orders for Hawaii for the med cent out there, and I was like, I don't want to fucking do that. So I called DA and asked to go to 5th group, and he said, yeah. So I went to 5th group.
So were you an 18 Delta at Fort Irwin? What were you?
Well, I was a 91 Bravo at that point. I was a medical platoon sergeant there.
Okay.
So I ran the medical platoon that, and all we did was provided real world medical aid for the rotation. Like we weren't op four or anything like that. We wore the stupid uniform, but we were just there for real world stuff.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So you go do that and then come back to fifth to be an
Yep.
18 Delta.
Yep. Was a Delta there. I was a senior Delta on 564. Great team, good dudes. Had a lot of fun. So yeah,
Yeah. Different, because we're getting into the late 90s now, right?
yep, yeah.
Um,
Um, the atmosphere was way different in fifth group. Much more training based. Um, we had our senior Bravo, Jason. Yeah, he was dude was on it, man. He was into training. We were a CQB team. This is before fifth group had their SIF. So man, he was on it and just he had us going. He was always freaking finagling ammo and shit for us to shoot. Team Sergeant was real supportive of training areas, so we did a lot of good stuff.
it's got to be refreshing
It was.
to get into that, especially coming from the regular Army unit. Where were you doing any training out there? And
Yeah.
how was that?
I went to the field 4 days every other month. When we went to the field, it was tracked vehicles, coolers, grills, and we sat around and bullshit, you know, waiting for somebody to get hurt, and then we went back to the rear. In between rotations, you took college courses or went on vacations, or yeah, it was as op four. It was a chill gig.
Quite different than some of my friends that have had to go down there and do the Op 4 gig, and they said it was fucking miserable. Uh,
Mine wasn't. Of course,
Experiences may
I
vary.
was also an E7 with the tab, so people really didn't fuck with me.
That is, yeah, that is a positive side of things, I guess, in all aspects. Is as long as you just keep to yourself, people, for better or for worse, and they don't even realize it, they'll just avoid you or avoid, trying to get you to do anything. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it does happen.
Yeah, but for them, I think several of the people were used to having a medic, like oh, you're a medic, we'll just walk all over the medics and get them to do what we want. And like, well, I wasn't letting that happen, and um, I wasn't as good a platoon sergeant as I would have liked to have been, but I tried to take care of the guys. So
Yeah, I'm sure they remember it.
I hope so.
Fifth group. So when's 9/11 happen in your career for you?
9/11 happened 11 days after I got off active duty. So I got out. Um, we were in. We came back from Kuwait Desert. What was that called? Desert Spring, I think it was called. Came back from that, and I'd already started. I can't remember the time, how it happened. Anyhow, I started the application process for the Marshal Service, and yeah, they're like, hey, you got to be out by September to make the academy. And back then we had, I don't know if you were in at that point, we had, what was it called? We didn't have a set ETS date. It was just up in the air. Like you enlisted for an unknown time or whatever.
In depth?
In depth, thank you. And so called around and finally figured it out. The Our acting first on time, Terry Peters, great guy. He helped me figure out how to get out. It was just a 4187. Yeah, Phil said, okay, well, I got to be out by August 31st because if somebody says you got to be out by September, what's that mean? By this beginning of September. So I got out August 31st, and then 9/11 happened 11 days later.
Would things have been any different if they had said you got to be out by October 1st?
But yeah, yeah.
Or would you have stayed in then?
Oh, fuck yeah. I went when 9/11 hit. They locked down the base. A couple days later, I managed to get in, and so I started with my company sergeant major. He's retired. I mean, Al Dempsey, another phenomenal dude. I was like, hey, if I get back, can you send me back to my team? And the he goes, look, you get back here, I'll send you where you want to go. He goes, but don't overreact just yet. He goes, we don't know what's going to happen. Just let it wait a little bit, see what you're out, you're on another path. Let's see where it goes. So I went all the way up to Group Sergeant Major, and all of them were like, hey, you get to group, I'll send you to your battalion. You get to battalion, I'll send, what I mean? They were going to get me back there. And I went to the reenlistment guy, and he goes, dude, if you reenlist, you could possibly go needs of the Army right now. He goes, even though you're tabbed, you're here, you could end up, in freaking wherever they need a medic. And I was like, oh shit. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait and see. I'm not doing that. So
What's it like? So I mean, imagine you just saw it on TV like everybody else, and
yep.
now with that in your mind, because you're not even in your 11 days is 5 seconds once you get out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're just waking up 5 seconds after you get out of active duty and watching the TV going, what's going through your mind seeing that after they determined, oh, fuck, we're under attack here?
Yeah. So I was getting ready to take my son to school, and I was sitting there putting on my boots when the second plane hit. And dude, I'm like, I wasn't surprised, because we'd seen this scenario, we'd heard of this scenario before, people using planes to fly into the buildings. And I was just like, I wasn't surprised it happened, but I was surprised that I wasn't surprised at the scenario, but I was surprised they'd actually done it. And no, my first thought was just, well, let me get my son to school, and then I need to go see the sergeant major. Yeah.
So things settled down a little bit. When did you get on with 20th Group?
I joined 20th when I out processed. You can, when you ETS, and you can join right into the guard. And so I joined them just as I might as well just, uh, go there and fuck off, basically. I had a buddy of mine who'd gotten out before me, went down there, and it was, just literally the good old boy system. Get together on, drill weekends, have a good time, shoot some shit, you know, that type of thing. So I'd already joined them by the time I got out.
Okay. And are you getting any direction from your command at that time? Like,
20th group?
yeah,
No, nothing.
nothing.
First time I heard from 20th group. Um, so I got out August 31st. September 1st, I called the Marshal Service, said, hey, when do I start? They said, hey, we don't know. We don't have a class date for you. I'm like, oh shit. Um, and so September around the
Wait,
15th.
wait. Hey, you got to be out by September 1st. You call them up on September 1st and they go, who the fuck
So
are you?
so they had said by September. And she goes, well, we meant the end of September. And I'm like, that one piece of knowledge would have changed my trajectory completely. You know,
So you could have, oh man, because you said you were on 565.
564.
Oh, 56, oh, whatever, five
Yeah.
six. But
Yeah.
I mean, triple. You got triple nickel. You got
Mm-hmm.
595. So one misinterpretation of first of the month, last of the month determined you in becoming a horse soldier or not, possibly.
Yeah. Possibly. Yeah. Or being on, what was that? I can't remember the team. They got hit with the JDAM real early.
That was Pedatory and Jefferson.
Yeah.
Sam
Yeah.
Pedatory.
I mean, it could have flown either way, Yeah. Just
How
one little piece of information.
do you think about that a lot?
I do. But I
Because you had to
also
know all those
realized
dudes, right?
I did. Most of them. Yeah. Um, but dude, this is where I was meant to be. When all else fails, this is where God meant me to be. Um, the choices I made, the things that happened. Yeah, this is where I was supposed to be.
No, it's just wild. Like
It is.
just one little detail
Mm-hmm.
on one day.
Yeah. But yeah, so I called him and like, no, we met the end of September. So I'm just waiting. And luckily a really good friend of mine, he called me that morning, the first morning I got out, and he goes, dude, let's go fishing. So we spent the next 6 weeks just freaking fly fishing. And the but then about the 15th of September, I get a call from the Marshal Service, or from the Marshals, and they're like, "Hey, we got an opening in I think it was an October class date. Two guys from 10th Mountain who were in that class had called and said they'd gotten stop lost, which at that point nobody had been stop lost at all. Um, so they wanted to go to war. I don't blame them. You know, they're um, so yeah, so that was how I got my slot for that in October.
We got stop lost. Well,
Yeah.
I'm too busy to check on that. Whatever. Even though, yeah, people weren't getting stop lost for 3 years or some shit like that
Oh,
after
was it
that.
that long?
I'm just saying it
Oh
was,
yeah. But yeah,
I
so
think
I
so.
went to the academy, and I the first time I heard from my command, went down. I called buddies of mine that were down there, but the first time I heard from the command was December. I graduated the academy December 22nd, I think it was. Got back to Tennessee. It was like the 24th. I got a letter that orders that we'd been activated for like the 3rd of January or something.
Okay. What'd you guys have to go do?
Oh god, my time in the guard was fucking brutal, dude. It sucked every fucking minute of it. Um, we went to Bragg, and I swear to God, dude, there was tabbed guys that had never been to Smoke Bomb Hill. They were literally fucking correspondents, paper tabbers. Yeah, I'm like, we were on the bus going somewhere, and this one guy goes, "Oh, so this is Smoke Bomb Hill." He was like an E7, freaking E8, freaking tab dude. Never been there. And I'm like, holy shit. But we sat at Bragg for months. Months. We were supposed to get there and deploy like within a couple months with third group. And our commander, I can't remember his name now, for some reason held us up, and we had to jump through a bunch of hoops and shit. Anyhow, we ended up deploying months later. We just fucking sat there at there's a hotel right down there by uh, the mall, and we just did stupid shit all fucking day until we finally deployed with 20th group had the siege of Sodaf, and then we deployed with the 7th group of battalion from 7th group.
To Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And what was your mission while you guys were there?
Who knows? It was a lot quieter then. I mean, at that time frame in Afghanistan, there wasn't a lot going on. 20th group was really conflict. They were avoiding conflict whether they could. Yeah, verse. Yeah. Like we'd get rocketed all the time. The base. I was up in Asadabad, and we'd get rocketed all the time. And if somebody got rocketed or anybody ran into contact, then they locked down the whole siege of Sodaf until they had 100% accountability for everybody, and then they would allow you to continue mission or leave your compound.
Sounds helpful.
Yeah. Now 7th group, the battalion from 7th group or company from 7th group, I can't. Were they? I think they were down by coast. Dude, they didn't give a fuck. They just did whatever the hell, and they did good shit, man. But they were not answering to the bullshit that 20th group was putting out.
Hey, different strokes, different leaders, and all
Mm-hmm.
that other stuff.
Yep.
I never got to go, so I can't offer
Yeah.
my opinion
Now
either way.
it was a lot quieter than what guys dealt with later. Yeah, we had a couple guys injured and stuff. Like I said, rockets. There were some minor attacks, and especially compared to what guys ran into, 2010 and on, a lot different.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a long time. As you said, people had their entire career, and that landscape
Mm-hmm.
changed a lot over the time.
Yeah,
And now it's just back to how it was
yeah,
in
better
2000.
funded.
Yeah. Uh, People are back to, living under the same rule that it was back then. We're negotiating with them. They're in charge, and what do we give them? A fucking $1 trillion in equipment and shit like that,
Yeah,
right? So here you go,
made
boys.
them what, fourth biggest army in the world or some shit, whatever it is.
Good, yeah, good for them. I love that. I would like at least get my parking validated when I go to federal facilities or something like that. But no,
That'd be nice.
it's a good donation. I'm so happy to help other people out with my tax dollars. Uh, just love it so much.
Yeah.
What was the marshals like, man? Like, why did you get into that in the first place?
Um, so when I was in fifth group, we had a gig where we were training up ATF's medics. This was I don't know how many years after Waco, and they didn't have any kind of medic program, so they started it after Waco. Regardless of what you think of the ATF or Waco or whatever, they had these medic programs started. And one of the guy was out of LA, and he was talking about the marshals. And he just taught me. He's like, man, and I'll never forget. He goes, man, they're the what do you call them? He goes, they're the bad boys of federal law enforcement. And if I wasn't in, 10 years invested in ATF, he goes, I would jump ship and go do it. So I started looking into them and researching it and that. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Man, that sounds like something I want to do right now. Not right now, but look at my kids were getting older. I was averaging like 210 days a year Oconus at that point. It was just a brutal, it was all training stuff.
210
But
days Oconus and still in the 90s. Like, no, nothing's going
yeah.
on. No
Well, this was
training.
late 90s, early
Okay.
2000s, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And but it was like all training stuff. Like we went to Kuwait. Kuwait was what, 3 months, 4 months? That was just one trip. So um yeah, so I started looking at the Marshal Service. Kids were getting older. Um I realized I had obligations here. So I figured I might as well pop smoke and do something else. So, Marshal Service seemed like a good transition.
And was your role within the marshals primarily medical based, or was that
No,
still a
no.
shooter?
Marshal Service didn't give a shit about my military background. Um, the the Marshal Service is run, if you can imagine, there's I think 97 districts, and they're all their own little fief.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Obviously. Yeah, 97.
they're their own little districts, right? Their own little fiefdoms. However, that marshal or that chief judge in that district wants to run it, that's how they run it. So, Northern Ohio, for example, is run vastly different from Southern Ohio. Um, so we got there. This district they couldn't care less what my military stuff was. I was just a deputy, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I didn't want to do medical shit at that point. Well, at that point I was a fox too. So, yeah, I was just a deputy.
Okay. Um, what were you doing then? Like, what was the
First
job?
couple, uh, so the Marshal Service is responsible for enforcing the courts, federal courts, and protecting the federal courts. So we did federal warrants, and then transporting prisoners to and from jails, to courts, stuff like that. And then looking for bad guys. That was the main thing. Was just if you weren't doing courts, you were doing warrants. Predominantly court, and then we'd rotate onto the warrant stuff every few months.
How long did you do that for?
20 years.
20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I retired from the Marshal Service in 21.
And I mean, your guard for how much of that?
4.5.
Okay, so just the first, early 2000s,
Yeah.
and then you were done with that.
Yeah. When I came up here, let's see, I got up here in 03. And yeah, 03. When did I was here about a year, I think, before I joined 19th group, because I was so done with the guard. I was like, I wasn't even gonna fuck with it. I was just gonna write my retirement off. And then just going from E7 with all the pro pays and stuff and the proficiency pay stuff to a GS5. Yeah, that doesn't work. So I joined. And that's when I joined 19th group up here.
Okay. Yeah, there's a there's a big gap there. But you said you made eight at one point, right?
I did eventually. So after I joined 19th group, when I joined them, because I'd been out of doing medic things for a while, and so I was talking to Sergeant Major here, and we were talking about. He goes, "Well, how about if I send you the Fox course?" All right. So went down, did the Fox thing, and came back, and then right after that, I took over a team and got my E8.
Nice. And then having never done 18 Fox stuff.
No, never did it. My last gig in fifth group when we went to Kuwait, I was a team sergeant for 564 for like 4 months, 5 months. So I had some experience with that, but then coming up in 10th group and early time in fifth group, the Fox course was it was still called OINK at that point, was very much, tanks and defilade, the Fulda Gap thing, uh, very conventional Russian Cold War era stuff still. Um, when I went down there, they just transitioned over to doing more asymmetric type things. So any experience I would have had would have been irrelevant.
As I said, everything that swings one way, it'll come back. It'll be back in
Mm-hmm.
season soon enough. Just look at the news. They
Yeah.
might be calling you. Hey, remember that shit we taught you? You're coming back, bud. We need some of that knowledge. You're the only one left
Yeah,
with this
right.
old
I'm
stuff.
the other one that can still walk.
20 years in the marshals. Like what was the big like? I mean, I don't even know. You're just a federal? I say just, but you're just a
Yeah,
federal cop, right? Doing
pretty
federal
much. Yeah,
things.
and
Okay.
I'd say I wasn't a real cop. Like I didn't, like cops in uniform on patrol and shit like that, dude. I could never do that job. Nothing but mass respect to these guys. I knew everybody I dealt with was a scumbag because I was looking for them because they had a warrant. It made it a lot easier. Um, so yeah, overall it was good up to the last couple of years. I got to do some neat shit. Um, the but yeah, we didn't like go out enforcing laws. If we were out on the street, we were looking for fugitives for the most part.
Yeah, and everybody has it. So nobody's seeing you that's good news.
Yeah,
If they're seeing you, it's bad news.
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you're just doing that in a section of Ohio for.
yeah. So most all my time was spent. Most of my stuff was here in Ohio. There was other things I did. Like I used to go to FLETC to teach. I'd go down there and help train people on that one, on some stuff. Marshal Service started a counter surveillance detection unit, which I was part of as a team leader on that one. So we traveled around for that. Um, and then you go to other areas doing like protection details or trials or helping out with big trials or stuff like that.
Okay. And now it's all over.
Now it's done.
Now it's just some stuff hanging on the wall and some coins and some certificates and all that stuff.
Yep. I don't miss it. Don't miss it at all, man.
None of it.
I don't miss any of the Marsh service. I miss what group was like when I was in, you know, but I do not miss the Marsh service. The only thing I miss about the Marsh service, honestly, is I miss training guys and I miss the free batteries. 123s are freaking expensive, man. It's like,
That's a first. That's a
yeah,
first right there. I miss the
yeah,
free batteries. But you say that there's a lot of perks that come with some of these gigs and some side benefits and things like that. And yeah, I never thought about that. I did have a lot of free batteries.
mm-hmm. Yep.
I was an 18 Charlie. I allegedly had a lot of free stuff. I don't know if the U.S. government would agree, but
Yeah.
allegedly,
Allegedly.
allegedly, we'll leave it at that. Obviously, not going to incriminate myself in any past or future crimes. Oh, but I do make some reels about that shit, and people get
That's
mad in the
funny.
comments. So they're like, "That's stealing." I'm like, "Fuck you! You got you. I must have raided your Connex."
I had that was something about Charlie's, man. You guys across the board could find shit. Just
Absolutely, it's like a
I
game.
don't.
It's
Yeah.
we were playing this ultimate game, and we've got top cover, we got side cover, we got all this other shit, and we can just go be a fucking rat
Yeah.
somewhere and dig your buddies out of a hole because you know, nobody wants a statement of charges and nobody wants to like get an investigation going. So it's like, hey, Nick, or, the supply guy and the Charlie get together. Hey, figure this shit out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go figure it out. And it's just this fun puzzle, I think. So,
Yeah. When we got to K2, we had shit, man. And that whole experience needs to be talked about in person over beers, a lot of beers. But like, we didn't have vehicles, man, and nothing. And all of a sudden, our Charlie shows up with like 5 vehicles he freaking stole from some other unit there on K2, and somehow had hand receipts for him. It was like, all right, that's gonna work.
That's it. You know, the guy. Um, Part of this, what I'm trying to do, I want to be the guy to help people. I did it when after I got hurt. I would People come to me, Nick, I need this. Fuck, you're on an ODA. I got it. You don't have to worry about that shit. I'm gonna take care of it for you. You're on a team. Let me work on that. You guys go be Green Berets. I'm gonna be a support guy for now, or I'm going to be a support guy for the rest of my career. And that's what I
Yeah.
want to be now. I just want to help people and to accomplish what they want to accomplish, and still be a bad motherfucker. Like I said, I'm gonna be old, disabled. I'm still a bad motherfucker.
There you go.
I'll outwork you in the gym. I don't know what I'm doing in the social media stuff, but I'll outwork you there too. I'm gonna fucking figure it out. But man, we'll see where it goes, man. So now we got Free Pineland back. We're coming right back to the beginning. Free Pineland Co. What's the you're not doing anything. You're retired grandpa life now, right?
Yep. Which is the
And you,
best.
which is the best. Now you can do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to listen to anybody except your grandkids. Um,
Yep. And they do run me.
and I would hope so. But then you can just, give them back to their parents. Here, you deal with that. That's your problem.
Yes.
So, what is it now? What's the goal with Free Pineland? Is it to just transfer some of your more favorite skills to the civilian sector?
Yeah, that's yeah, ultimately I think it is. It started when I started it, it was just for something to do. I enjoy teaching. Um, something to make gun money, play money, that type of thing. Um, and the so the Marshal Service, one of the great programs they started back in 2011, maybe. It was a bad. It was I think it was 2011, maybe '07. Yeah. Um, the pedophiles started fighting back, man. The kiddie porn guys and shit, where they would normally just they'd just cave and give in. They started shooting back. They started injuring deputies and TFOs. So the Marshal Service started this program called HERFA, high risk fugitive apprehension training, and it was originally called HERFAT, but we had a female director at the time, and she took offense to that. So
That's not going to go over big at the next training brief. Yeah.
yeah, so she made them cancel take off the T, so it was HERFA. But the guys who started it were amazing, man. I mean, um, there was anyhow, there's a bunch of them that were just good dudes that really cared about the program. Uh, and what they started doing was training guys on fugitive apprehension stuff. And to keep it going, they started a thing called the tactical training officer thing. So in district, guys like me would just continue that training, in district for the locals. So I started doing a lot more. I was doing training from the beginning, but it became more of an official thing, and I could actually start teaching. And so when I figured out, I'll just keep doing it when I get out, do the word of mouth thing. Um, yeah, nobody follows word of mouth when you're out trying to actually do shit. So, but what I noticed was, you know who the worst gun handlers in the world are?
Um, I was going to say the blind or the deaf. I don't know.
They're not. Well, they can handle it better. They just can't hit shit.
Yeah.
So, cops are just horrible gun handlers, man. Because, and it's not their individual fault for the most part. It's just everything is okay. Draw your pistol when I tell you to. Keep it pointed down range. Shoot 5 rounds and put it back in your holster. That's all these guys know. Um, so going through that, and then like seeing civilians kind of doing the same thing, where they're getting shitty instruction. Like I've talked to females that had CCW instructors tell them they need to teacup their weapon because they're women, and I'm like, you know, it made no sense. Or they need to use a specific gun because they're women, and it's like it just made no sense to me. So, and then you get these guys who want to run before they're ready to walk. They're wanting to, you know, pull free flow CQB on a building, and they can't load their weapon properly. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather so I was like, I need to reach out to civilians and like get them the fundamentals of handling and shooting to where they can build on these things before they worry about the long term, the quote unquote advanced stuff.
Yeah. One thing I just want to reiterate for my civilian fans at home that are listening, I appreciate you guys. But the worst trained, or least, I don't say worst trained, I don't know about their training, the least trained uh, shooters in America are all of the police in this country. The military trains the most for the least, and the people that have the least train, or it's vice versa for the police. They're always deployed. They're always out there with rounds in the chamber, ready to go, and they get 8 hours of training a month.
Oh, they don't get that much.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's a quarter. Some it's just
Oh,
it's dependent on, but
it depends on the
nothing
department.
department. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like for the Marshal Service for us, it was 40 hours a year, and it wasn't even mandatory. And
So
that was,
zero.
yeah. So it was. There was times there was um, guys I would train that and that's in club. That's not just that's just the tactical stuff, not just firearms. That's shield work. That's room entries. That's vehicles. So it's not even just gun stuff. It's all these other items. There's PDs out there. The only time they shoot their gun is like 50 rounds a year. So yeah, yeah, it's bad, and they need more. But and I like training cops when they want to be there. It's like in the army, dude. How many times you get sent to training, you didn't want to be there, so you didn't pay attention.
All
Cops are
of
the same
all
way.
like in the regular army, all of it.
Yeah.
But SF, I kind of wanted to be there.
When guys pay to go, they want to be there and they pay for it. They pay attention. It's fun for them, for law enforcement. But civilians, I mean, civilians need that training too. They have. There's a need for it, and there needs to be a source for it. Where uh, it's not always. It doesn't have to be tactical, and not everything has to be, multicam and nods and a magazine dump, with a suppressed weapon. A lot of it is just learning how to handle your gun.
Yeah,
You know,
perishable skill.
yeah. Can you handle it? Can you handle it safely? And can you hit what you're shooting at the speed you need to do it? Um, like what is one of the things I'm seeing now online is what's that saying they're making fun of now? Slow down and get your hits or something. I guess that was a saying. I have no idea, but it's another one of the things where people get something in their head and it just perpetrates itself.
Interesting. Um, yeah, there's a lot of bad training out there too. It's worse when they go get they you're able to get it and then you get the incorrect stuff and then that doesn't help anybody. We're going the wrong direction here, folks. Um, it's too bad. Like everybody I talk to that's training civilian or law enforcement, it's more serious for the law enforcement. Like these
Yeah.
people are always ready to rock all the time. They
But it
should,
should be.
yeah. Well, I mean, anything can come up because
Yeah.
it's not when you're on duty too. It's at the fucking
Hmm.
supermarket. That guy that you arrested, he could, decide to make everybody's day a bad day because he's having a worse day and shit like that too. So you got to always be ready to rock. And I don't know. And I'm not saying everybody. Some people are more squared away than others, but it just from what I'm hearing, it's the departments aren't getting the funding to properly push the training that's needed at at that level.
And the first thing that any department cuts is training. If there's going to be some kind of budget cuts, they always cut training. I've run into departments where they would rather send their guys to report writing than to a vehicle class or a shooting class.
There's no there's no need for that anymore. You plug all these bad notes into ChatGPT, it'll spit you out a perfect report
Yeah,
every time. Every
yeah,
time now.
yeah.
Um, I just learned
Uh,
that shit having to do a report for some work I just did for a company, and they're like, "This is great." I was like, "Great, I didn't do anything."
yeah,
Uh,
just there you go. Let AI do it. But no, I think civilians. I mean, like I said, I like teaching law enforcement. Um, but civilians, I think there's a big need for it, and I wonder if sometimes the I think there's legit trainers out there that have gone down that tactical road where that's where the focus is, and I think people like that because it's cool guy stuff. Not that it's not good training, but do they need to be learning how to do that stuff versus hey, can I quickly, safely, and efficiently get my gun out of its holster and shoot?
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I think the better guys that they understand. Hey, you don't need that. You're never gonna shoot in plates. If you're in plates and with a basic load on, something's gone wrong. Like
oh yeah,
we're
horribly
all
wrong.
in trouble. We're all in trouble here. Like this is a
Yeah,
bad situation. So No, that's good, man. Are you having fun doing that?
I am. When I get to do it, it's hard, hard getting your name out there. You know how it is starting out. Um, the When I do it, I have a great time. It's always fun. Uh, I went to a shot in January, and that was kind of my first big foray into like seeing what was out there. And that was where everybody's like, "Man, you got to be on social media."
Got to.
And great guys, very very helpful guys that I talked to, and yeah, so I came back and then got things, started getting things going with the website and everything, and then got on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube in March. So, and it's been chaos.
After we get off here, I'm gonna give you some pages that you need to follow, and
Okay.
they got it figured out, and
Okay.
so that's the best advice that my buddies gave me. He's like just find some pages that have got it their way ahead of you, and just kind of be like, how did they get to where they are? Okay,
Yeah.
let me do some of the things they're doing. It's easy to say the word copying, but it's regional. People are only going to travel so far, and if you're not ripping off, don't rip off somebody direct. Don't rip off the used car lot right across the street. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But if
Go
you've got
across
a
country.
friend,
Yeah.
and you're a fifth group guy, I'm going to give you a fifth group guide to look at here real quick. Yeah, when we get off here.
Okay.
But man, all right, man. It
It's
sounds like you're
it's
fucking
weird,
having
man,
a
because like
blast, though.
it is, man. It's fun. It's like I'm going to Florida at the end of this month to teach a PCC class and a active threat instructor class. So that'll be a good time. Yeah, so just getting classes where I can, and just um, some private lessons, and I've done a couple church group things. Just helping them out with some things, shooting, and yeah, it's fun, man. It's a good time. The uh, just figuring out the getting your name out there. That's the only issue really with that I have with it at this point.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
so
long game sort of thing.
it
What's
is,
the
and
overall goal? Is it just to keep little incremental growing until you retire fully?
um, I'm trying to avoid the 5 to 10 year grind of the traditional way of getting your name out there and getting successful. To get something. The goal is really, if I could do a class every couple months, that's it. You know, it's not money to support me. It's something I enjoy doing, and I think I've got a good product and some good stuff to put out. And I would love to do it, wherever, but locally is great when you're training your neighbors to be able to shoot straight.
Yeah, and yeah, if because you want to put in the work on the training, right? But
Mm-hmm.
because that's going to be it's X amount of work, and you're going to have to just put in the same amount of work, just differently in getting people's eyes on what you're doing in your area and things like that. So, well, in
Yeah,
whatever way I can fucking help you, I will do just that. That's what this is all about. Fucking
I appreciate it, man. That's
lesser known operators, man. Fucking
right.
that's what it's all about. And
Yeah,
I got yeah, go ahead.
no, that's what I've been trying to do. Like even on Instagram, like reaching out to other GBs that have companies and say, hey, look, I'll support you with what I can. If you'll do the same type thing.
And that's what I'm all about, man. I just want to support everybody and
Yeah.
um, uplift and a positive message, and just be a better veteran than I was about a year and a half ago when I was not helping anybody. So I want to be a good place for a lot of people, and
Good, man.
that's what I'm trying to
That's a
do.
good goal.
We'll see. It's always you got to work on it every day, because
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people that want me to succeed and want me to do well, and they believe in me all the time, and I don't believe in me all the time, so I got to prove them correct in their assessment of me.
Dude, every
So
morning pretty much I wake up and I'm like, do I want to do this today?
I do not. I'm ready to go. Like, let's
Okay.
fucking go every day. It's an hour later, I'm like, you're a piece of shit. And then after that, I'm like, I'm the best in the world. And that piece of shit. It's complete diametric flop every hour or so. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
maybe I got something wrong with me. And then
Yeah.
I'll make a piece of content that people like, and I'm like, I'm back. I'm
There you
back.
go. I don't, dude, I posted a something the other day. It's just a shot down my rifle and my chickens are in the
Yeah, that's why I'm commenting in there. I'm trying to get other people to comment,
dude, that thing has 22,000 views.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
go over
like,
a couple. We'll go over a couple points here.
yeah,
After we stop recording here, but
yeah.
um,
I'm just like, why? What is
there,
the? Yeah, it's just crazy, man. It's
there's a lot to the things, and the algorithm and commenting and views and things like that. And you catch one, and you get followers from that, and then you just kind of, okay, what do I need to do? Why is it like this? What do I have in this
yeah,
picture? What am I looking at? Okay, we got X items, and you kind of make note of it in your head for next time you want to do something. So variation, never quite exactly the same, but you just vary slightly and keep things going on and get people to talk and things like that.
yeah.
So, but
I'm guessing. Yeah.
I got 5 questions here that I ask everybody, and then I'll cut you loose. How's that sound? All right, brother. What is your response to thank you for your service?
Oh, that's a hard one. A lot of times it depends on my mood. Um, yeah, because you got to remember it's so weird now because like when I was first started out in the army, I remember seeing yard signs. Actually, first one I saw was at Sill. We were on a run out of the on the base there, and there was a sign in one of the post housing lawns said "Soldiers and dogs keep off of grass." And so
To be fair, that doesn't sound too. Yeah, they should keep off the ground.
they should, but I've seen that I grew up in the army seeing
I
that
get what you're
sentiment, you
saying
know.
there, though too is because,
And
but
so the first time I heard somebody say that, um, this is probably a longer answer than what you're looking for.
no, you're good.
I went back to high school to help my recruiter after I got out of jump school, and I ran into a teacher who was a great teacher, but dude, he remembered me, and I'm surprised. And he didn't say thank you for your service, but he told me he was proud of me, and I was like, it was weird. Um, Now when I hear it, it depends on my mood. Sometimes I just kind of blow it off like, oh, hey, you're welcome. Sometimes I want to tell people, I'm like, man, I did not do this for you, you know? Um, so yeah, it just depends on my mood on how I take it. But I try to be gracious because I think for the most part, it's coming from a good place. So I try not to be embarrassed by it.
Everybody's got a different answer, man. Different way they feel about it, so that's totally okay. I try and just be positive. It was an honor because if you
Mm-hmm.
go down the route of I didn't do it for you or things like that, that's not really a positive thing, and nobody
It's
walks
not.
away from that as feeling better. To where it was an honor because it really was, and they said something nice, and everybody feels in a positive direction as opposed to
Yeah.
negative or just even keeled or feels weird. So that's one of the ways to go about it. What is the one characteristic that sets operators apart from the conventional forces?
Are we talking AT&T operators or
No.
sorry, I hate that term. I never, people call me an operator. I'm like, not really. But anyhow,
We're it it's catchy and I picked it out. We're not even Green Berets. For those listening at home, Green Berets are not operators. There's very few, and the people that are you've never met.
exactly, yeah, and that's how I feel. There's a couple units out there that are, and they deserve that. You know,
They have a whole
um,
course named after it for them to go do.
exactly.
This is a long tryout, and you want to figure out what they are. But since it's in the mainstream, I wrote this is the first thing I wrote down, and that's the name of the show and the name of the brand, and people seem to like it, so
Yeah, I like
that's
it.
what it's
Yeah.
going with. So
The one trait, and I think it's just getting things done no matter what. Even to the point of our own detriment. That whole what's that one saying? We're doing less. Every day we do more with less, and I
I
can't remember
hate
what the
that.
saying is now, but
It
um,
boils down to we got to do more we got to do more with less, but you
yeah,
continue to succeed with less until it becomes untenable. It's
yeah,
I hate that shit. We do that to
yeah,
ourselves, yeah.
we do. But I think that's the thing. I mean, no matter what, we yeah, you kind of make it happen, even if it's, uh, yeah, even like we would go on deployments and we would take, uh, like some of our lower ranking, NCOs, and the commander sergeant major would make them like E7s just so they could deal with the people they had to deal with, you know, just because, and that's a little version, but yeah, it's just, I think that would be the big thing. No matter what, you're just getting the shit done.
It's a job, man. What is the one moment of your career that you wish you could go back and relive or redo, and it wouldn't change where you are now,
I would stay in fifth group another couple of years.
or even 12 days more? Like,
Yeah, yeah. If it wouldn't change where I'm at right now, like I said, dude, I have a blessed life, man. Um, I have a phenomenal family. I have a great church. I've got good friends. Um, you know, back in 21, I got baptized. I found God. Great life. And if it wouldn't change where I'm at right now, yeah, I would have stayed in fifth group at least a couple more years. No,
it had to be a wild time.
no, yeah, I imagine. So yeah, as long as it didn't change where I'm at, that would be the thing. That's the only thing I could think I would change.
I figured that was what you were going to say, but yeah, because we all have something we think about, and I mean, I got to interview Perry Blackbird on here, and I'm just listening to him going, "That must have been fucking crazy. That must have been crazy. That must have been fucking crazy."
Yeah.
Um, what's the best piece of advice that you've received during your career?
Team sergeant in 10th group, Pat Mahoney, great team sergeant. He told me one time when I got in trouble there with Lambert. He said, "There's nothing you can't soldier your way out." And I have used that. That would have been in 95, I think, ish, mid 90s. He told me that. I have used that with coworkers, with my kids, to some variant. There's nothing you can't soldier your way out of. If that means just making sure your uniform's done back in the day, pressed and polished, um, your uniform's done, you're where you need to be on time, you look sharp to whatever else is. I think that's probably the best advice I ever got in my career. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes. We all do. We step on our dick at different times. There's accidents, there's, whatever. But if you buckle down, you can soldier your way out of it.
What were you afraid of then, and what are you afraid of now?
In group, I was afraid of failing the test. When it came time for, combat or something like that, would I hold up? Would I perform well? That was probably my biggest fear. Because you never know. I mean, nobody knows what they're going to behave like until it happens.
And
And
now,
now, hmm, being a bad husband, I need to be better at that. I think I do a good job. My kids are good. They're productive. They're happy. My grandkids are awesome. So I can focus on my wife. Um, being a good husband and a good Christian. Them are that's what I fear I'll fail at now.
like that, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show. How
Thanks
can
for having me.
everybody find you on social media if they so choose?
On Instagram, it's freepineland.co. And my website is the same, freepineland, one word, .co. My YouTube is Pineland Consulting, Free Pine, or what is it? Can't remember it's Pineland Consulting and Development on YouTube and Facebook. Now, yeah, I keep getting them mixed up. So, um, I'm probably on Instagram more than anything. I try to post stuff over to Facebook and then trying to produce longer stuff for YouTube as I can. But if
If
you need to contact me, my website's the best.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. You got anything for
Thanks,
me?
brother. No, man. Thanks. It was a good time.
Absolutely. I love talking to you. And now you know me, and now I know you. Well, bye, everybody.